Salute to the people. What's good with it? Black Goose TV family. We up in here, Fluence Lounge. Another day, another dollar, another weekend, another fight day. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily we got the greatest fights in the world. We on the MMA side of the game rather than the boxing side of the game. But either way, we here once again. Salute to the people. Hopefully your weekend's going amazing. Happy Saturday. We up in here, man. What's good with it, Zen? We got Zen blessing us on the Fluence Lounge side of the game. What's good, bro?
Ooh, yeah. That's how it is right there. Ooh, yeah.
Hey, Jake hit one of them when Omarion brought him on stage because you know what I'm saying, Omarion was trying to get saved. But anyways, before we get into
bring Tank out,
he had to, man.
Nah, man, that's how you know. That's the only nigga that in there could have sang, but they saved his ass.
And Mario was getting on him. He was like, "Oh, bro, really?" He was like, you got to bring people out. Like, I ain't brought no one out. Like, it's just me out here. Like, you already." And then, you know what I'm saying, he brought out Tank. He brought out Jeremiah. Jeremiah sounded, damn. This nigga Jeremiah was like, "Birthday." Anyways, look, before we get into this joint, we got a lot of things we're going to talk about. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight, man. So, you know what I'm saying, rock with us, man. If you end up watching this joint, hit the comment section as always. You know what I'm saying? Tell us what you think about this particular video, this live. If you like it, dislike it, fuck with it. Don't matter what it is, man. Let's hear what you got to say. Like the video, subscribe to the motherfucking family. If you're not part of the family, then, of course, notification gang so you know whenever we dropping content. So, with that all being said, salute to the people. We up in this thing. So we're gonna start it off right, man. First and foremost, man, I know we got Zen up in the building. Is there anything particularly that you want to touch on to begin this particular Fluence Lounge, especially since, you know what I'm saying, we're not 100% paying attention to any of the fights? We'll give you some type of updates on them, even though it's on the MMA side of the game. But tonight we're gonna be more so lounging rather than, you know what I'm saying, being all up into the fights. But anything you want to particularly, you know what I'm saying, talk to the people about?
Well, I think we should start off by asking how my nigga Flu Day was. I think that's how we should start off, my boy.
Well, it was Saturday. It's been a while since I've had a bad Saturday, which is a good thing because I remember there was a point in my time of life where I used to have some bad Saturdays, man. But anyways, my Saturday was good, man. My Saturday went really well. It went how majority of my Saturdays have been going lately. And also, I want to say this too. You can control what needs to be controlled if you put yourself in the position to do so, because like if I think about the evolution of, because, you know, we've been doing, you know, whether regardless of how we want to, you know, name the podcast, we've been doing these for a long time. And I remember there was times when we would come on these things, we would just be like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like really just, and I realized that, you know, at the end of the day, you can only blame so many, you know, so much for amount of things that can happen in your life that you don't appreciate, or for the moment that you don't think should be happening, or you feel like it's negative or it's affecting you in the wrong way. So I'm like, it's really important to make sure if you do have a routine or if you have a way to control things that's in your life, man, control it, man. Do what you got to do to put yourself in a position where, you know, when things go wrong at the end of the day, there's a certain reason for it. You know what I'm saying? You're able to, you know, analyze it, pinpoint it, and then do your best to fix it and then to move on. But anyways, because life is short. But anyways, I don't know where I went with that. But my day was cool. My Saturday went solid. Woke up early. I always wake up very early on my Saturdays because I try to have as much Saturday as I want. The first thing that I do is I crank down the air even more so it gets colder, get the blanket, double up with the blanket side of the game, and I turn on the first two shows that I went to watch. Superman Lois was the first one. Good to see it back. Solid return episode. And then the second one I watched the final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, I was a little disappointed on the Obi-Wan Kenobi entire series, but nonetheless, I thought the final episode was pretty good. So, watch those to start off the day with. After that, did my chores for the day, had some good breakfast, and then after that was done, went back, watched my next two shows, which we're going to be getting into. I watched The Boyz, and then after I watched The Boyz, I watched the first episode of the new season of The Chi. Both of those was fire. Can't wait for what I'm going to see. I can't wait. I'm mad there's only 2 episodes left in The Boyz, but we're gonna get into that extensively. And then The Chi, beautiful start off for the first episode. I'm excited to see what's going to end up happening. After I was done with that, got my little park workout, got that in, came back to the crib, chilled out for a little bit, kind of just relaxed, and now here we are. So that was my Saturday. Nothing, you know, too hard. You know what I'm saying? Got my food waiting on me. I'm gonna eat that later. So very chill, very cool Saturday, man. I loved it, man. Definitely would give it probably like a 4.6 out of 5. After I eat, definitely 5 out of 5, just because the boys were so goddamn good. So I had a great Saturday, man. I enjoyed it. For real. It's interesting, though. It ended up being as good because I kept telling myself from the beginning of the week I was finna go out. I kept telling I'm going to go out Friday and Saturday. I kept telling myself that. I didn't go out Friday. And I'm probably not gonna go out tonight. So, but still had great days. So, that's what I'm at.
That's hell of a days right there, boy. That is
man.
good news because a lot of people didn't have a lot of good days, boy, especially starting from yesterday, man. Everybody's up in arms downtown. People was walking in anger. Then got streets shut down because people think that them marching their legs is gonna do something. And I'm here to tell them, us black folks been marching for decades on decades on decades. Ain't nothing changed, boy. So y'all might as well go ahead park them puppies up in the crib and save y'all breath, man. But anyway,
real quick though, it is interesting that you're seeing a lot of protests out there but like your state still is gonna legalize it. Like out here where I'm at, I'm trying to find the protesters. I don't see much. I'm probably in the wrong areas, but there is some areas where, like, I did see one dude. It was like one white dude. He had to sign up. But it was just him by himself. But I was like, but like, where I'm at, they are going to make it illegal. But like where you're at, it's actually still going to be legal. Well, unless they decide to change it. But I doubt it.
You got to remember, man, I'm in a land of opportunity out here. So anybody got an opportunity to get on that camera or be on something that they going to do it, man. But we going to get into that later, man, because I don't want to harp in the beginning on that. But my day.
Yeah, talk to the people, man.
It was crazy, man, because I worked late last night. And then as soon as I got duped. So I was supposed to go to the gym and get some shots up because I remember I told you my injury. So I felt better this morning. So I was like, I can just get some shots up because I don't want to come back and, I don't know, retweak something. So I'm like, I can just get some shots up and like that. Maybe do cardio. So I got up. As soon as I woke up, I went right to work. You know what I'm saying? So I basically went to sleep, work, went to sleep, wake up, went to work. So, but I didn't stay out too long because I was like, I'm going to be done at this time. Hit the dude. Dude said he's tired. His back hurt. Woo. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get things done at the crib. So I came to the crib, got some stuff done, and then I took a nap because I didn't realize how tired I was until I got back to the crib and I got everything done. I get the dishes. I get, how we get down. Yeah. Got that going. I didn't mop though. That's what I should have did. I do that another day. But now I took a nap. Best nap I've had in a long time, man. I woke up feeling refreshed. You had a good nap when you can dream in your nap. I had a dream in my nap. I didn't like the dream.
That's a fire ass nap if you can dream in a nap.
Exactly. I was dreaming. I didn't like the dream though, so I wish I didn't dream. But me waking up, it was good. I felt refreshed, and I got up. Then I got me some good food. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna give me some good food. So I got me some good food. I ate that joint, and you hit me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really do nothing like too crazy on this Saturday. It's more so just like a relaxation.
Saturday.
Yeah. Even though I'm still gonna go out after this. We get done riffing to the people. I have no complaints though. You know what I'm saying? Because I took this week off for the most part, except yesterday. I just, had to let my body rest and, get my mind right.
Celebrating Juneteenth.
No, I wasn't doing that. But I wasn't doing that. But what I was doing, I was just making sure I appreciated my work that I put in for that month. Because I'm telling you, man, I went a whole month, no day off, man. And that's labor abuse in any other industry. So
it depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah, exactly. Some people be like, we're paying you, so get your ass out there. But anyway, my day, 4.5. And then when I get to this money, man, it might be a 4.8, man. Because I'm like, money. It's going to be in that account. So, yeah, man, 4.8, man.
Oh, that sounds like a good ass day, man.
Yeah, going to be a 4.8 after I get to this money. But right now, 4.5, man. I can't complain, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man. Can't complain. Made money, spend some money as I go.
I do want to say this, man. It's only gonna be a matter of time before y'all see me on here. I'm gonna get me one of them Walmart Rolexes. You feel me? And y'all niggas gonna be really mad. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. So just wait. I'm finna get me one of the Walmart Rolexes and the Walmart gold chain, and I'm gonna double it up. Cause I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm a regular nigga. Why would I buy real jewelry,
man?
Unless I'm trying to invest,
that, man. You need to hit Raheem the jeweler, man. I
get
in contact with Wallow for you.
No, think about this. If I'm trying to invest, then yes, at some point I will buy a Rolex, but just a regular Rolex and never just for an investment. But for me to stunt, I'm gonna buy fake shit. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, man, Raheem the jeweler. Remember Wallow, man? He brought him on the show, man. He was like,
you see the watches that they have at Walmart, though, bro? Them joints be fire.
Do you see the watches Raheem had, boy? He had a
Yeah, but
real
they gonna
fake
be more
AP.
like, but I know they'll have a fake, but that'll still be like 2,000, 3,000. Like when I can get like
Yeah,
something
it
for
will
like
still have a
250
little.
that look fire.
Yeah,
You
it's
feel
still
me?
big. Ain't that crazy how fake
But
shit still costs a lot? Like, damn, nigga,
it's all a
you gonna charge
scam,
me,
nigga.
you
because
gonna call
because
me,
the crazy
charge
thing
me
is,
three bands for a fucking fake ass watch. So if I get caught, I'm gonna be laughed at.
but it's crazy though, is because there's only like when it comes to that real expensive shit, when it comes to watches, there's only certain things that have like resale value. So like
Yeah,
unless you're a rich nigga, you're not buying no crazy shit.
facts.
That's
I
why so
seen.
many higher class people don't have just Rolexes, because I'm like, you can resell that. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
always gonna appreciate in value.
Yeah,
So
especially
like my
with
first
gold.
real watch when I put money down is gonna be a Rolex. That's for me to resell it. But I'm definitely I've just been coping myself and getting my mind right. I'm definitely getting myself ready so I can buy me some fake shit. So I can really be out here stunning on niggas. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care if you
No.
say it's fake. I'm gonna be like, yeah, my shit fake. You the dumb nigga who spent real like all your money on that real shit.
This
Nigga, like
nigga
you Little
there,
Wayne,
my
nigga.
nigga
You ain't
Fluence
Little
coming
Wayne,
at
you a
these
regular
niggas, man.
nigga.
Bro, but you know, like at least 85%, maybe even 90%, could be 95%. Don't got real shit. And if they do, that shit ain't
They don't
theirs.
even know it because they told them it was real. It was like, man, that shit's real in motherfucker. Like, my
But I'm
shit
just saying,
real.
even if it's real, it ain't theirs. That shit borrowed. You know what I'm saying? Until
Yeah.
they come with the whole 500, 600, 700, or $1,000,000 worth of jewelry that they got on their body. That shit ain't. It's like a car, bro. If I go get
They
a car at
renting
a
it.
dealer,
Yeah,
right?
they got a lease
It's
on it.
my car,
Yeah.
but it ain't my car because I don't got no pink slip. I can't sell it to somebody on the street. I have
That's
to
a
sell it
fact.
back to the dealership. So,
Back. Or you gonna end up in the little meat situation where it's like, nigga, you selling shit that's
oh
not yours.
man, hey, why that jeweler do me like that, man? I'm like, man, you got 50 right there. That nigga can't leave you a chain, nigga.
No, so check this out. You talking about you got 50 right there. This nigga put down 50 for a 200,000 plus watch, nigga. What is 50 to 200,000?
Nothing.
And then you trying to resell it so you can get a $750,000 watch.
What does he need a watch like that for? No, baby. No, I'm telling you.
Nigga,
In this
like, bro,
smart way,
we regular niggas. Like in that world, like niggas, the stun is different. You feel me?
fuck the stunt. What
You
is
can't
no
say that though.
joint
That's what
I've
life is
ever met?
about.
No joint I've ever met. My bad.
No,
No
you good.
joint I ever met, bro, ever saw a watch and was like, yo, is that 250,000 on your wrist? Is that 500K on your
I'm
wrist?
finna,
Like, no joint I've ever met, bro.
I'm finna fuck you up. I'm finna fuck you up. You ain't gonna like what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna be 100 with you, cause we ain't never been around them type of bitches. Feel me? There's levels of shit.
So you telling me bitches out here spotting 500K watches?
Absolutely, nigga. And they looking at it and they looking for the come up. Come on, man. Don't be crazy with it.
I'm talking
It's
about knowing the
absolutely, bro.
specific price that they paid for that watch.
Remember when I told you I was in Atlanta and I was with that young gun, right?
Yeah.
That nigga, he finna be popular in the mud. And he had, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, even, you know what I'm saying? My cousin had to, you know what I'm saying? He had his gold shit. He had to watch. You know, I had that on the silver necklace my mama gave to me when I was a kid because it was good luck to me.
And you had all the hoes. That's
I
my
didn't give a
point.
goddamn. And so, but what I'm saying, but look, this is the difference though, is because one, cousin in a different position, and then him, he's young. And we're in regular people environment. You feel me? We didn't go to no rich, you know, spots. If we would have went to more upper class, then it would have been different probably. So I'm like, in the regular, I'm like, yeah, you are right to the extent of, yeah, when you around people that's on the same, like when it comes to regular, yeah, none of that shit matters. They're not looking at no watch or nothing. They just literally looking at how you moving, how you talking, and how you carry yourself. That's the only thing that matters. But we can't sit here and act like there's not a upper echelons where there's, you know, where you move above that when literally the women around, all they doing is looking for a come up, or they're looking for like, I want to be with this type of person. And it all has to do with, you know what I'm saying, what they showing and how much money they may have. That's a reality. We just don't live in that. That's out there.
Hey man, look, I know you're probably 100% right? But like you said, you talking about the 1%. Now the other 99%. I've never been around a joint that could identify the worth of somebody else's watch.
It's like, let me say this. They care. It's not like they'll understand the worth or nothing like that, but your presence matters to certain chicks, even if it's a regular chick. And that's why some niggas, they'll buy a Benz, but they'll still live with their mom. You know what I'm saying?
Backwards hustling. And I'm
by
not
a real
shaming that
worldly,
man.
but not. But no,
Because
there's
remember,
nothing
you
wrong
used to
with
be
it.
at
But
the
that's a
Terrence
nice place. Yeah.
apartments, and we used to see fly ass
We
whips
talked
over
about that
there.
all the time.
You be like, bro, why this nigga got that nice ass Beamer over there, and he live
But
over here?
he live here.
He's like, that's backwards. He's like, you should go get you a house, nigga, and go drive a hoopty.
But I'm like, there's a place for that. It
Isn't
all
that
just depends
crazy
on what your
though?
priorities is.
Isn't that crazy though, Flu? And like, look, a lot of y'all niggas like, man, if y'all ever touch that real money, we gonna see what type of time y'all on, right? I know what type of time I'm gonna be on, and it ain't gonna be trying to impress no hoe. And I ain't mean to come at y'all ladies when I call y'all a hoe. But if you only looking for the money, you a hoe. Cause I'm gonna tell you now, it gotta be more to that person than the money. If you want to be treated the way you claim you want to be treated.
And I'll say this right now, I'll be honest with you. If I got that type of money, I know exactly how I would be. I would be an absolutely fool with that shit. And that's why God's like, you don't need that type of money, nigga, because I know the type of bullshit you be on, nigga. So um I'm like, I'm looked at, I'm a conservative nigga. Most people, I'm a cheap nigga, all that type of stuff. I am that way because I'm scared to be in a certain way. But let me somehow run across a real bag, and a real bag to me is different than other people. You feel me? Let me run across a real bag, nigga. First 50,000 getting ran through quick. First probably 2 weeks. So I'm just.
And then look,
That's
and
the
I'm not
reason,
saying
nigga.
don't enjoy your money, right? I'm not coming at people that you feel me, but if your whole thing is when you get money is to blow it profusely, then did you really not like the position you was in before? Because that's the quickest way to go back to it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying don't live your life, but I'm like, have a plan when you do. Like, okay, you said your first 50. So whatever your real bag is, 50K must not really hurt you, right?
So I have
So
a
that's
limit. Yeah,
fine.
exactly. So it has a way out.
But
So
that's
obviously it
fine.
changes. If my bag is lower than that, now a percentage comes off. Okay, so my first 7,000 I run through. I'm gonna run through that, but I see now I need to. But most people's not gonna think that way.
But you get
Most
what
people
I'm
gonna be
saying
like, I'm
though.
gonna get this bag
You
again.
being realistic with that. A lot of our brothers out here, I mean, come on, man. We talk about fast money all the time. That's what was popular in our culture, right?
Mm.
I didn't heard people, and I'm not gonna say names or what ethnicity it was because you feel me, them people always watching. But I've seen heard people run up 50,000 in a day, gone in a week. I'm thinking like, God, how? You know
We
what I
live on a
mean? I didn't
different
mean to yell,
stage.
y'all.
We live
Huh?
on a different stage of life, man. There's so much levels in this life, and that's why when I really think about it, and I think of the totality of everything, it's very interesting when anybody feels like they know everything or they have all the answers, especially when it's like I think about you growing up and being in a class and listening to teachers, right? Y'all make what 50, 60, 65, 70,000 a year, and you trying to tell me how this life works, and there's niggas literally making a billion, there's literally a million, 500K, 600K a year. I don't care what you have to teach me. I want to know what they know. You feel me? Like really think about how this life works. So it's like impossible. You can never tell me that all this shit is structured to keep people at a certain level. Follow the crowd. Like there's a reason why the people who decide to differentiate themselves and really go against the norm, those are usually the people who make a lot of money. Is because I think the system is built where we don't want a lot of that. We want a lot of people to be subdued and have the same type of mindset because we want a certain type of um what's the word for it? We want a certain type of system in place. We want to have the few that can break out against whatever we're putting in place. We want them to be at the top, but we want to be able to recognize them, pinpoint them, and to control them to a certain extent, but still have an outlook where everyone else is looking out and everyone else who's scared to do that, they're just going about the same old, same old. Like this particular conversation is interesting to me because, excuse me, I got my hair cut. My barber, he is I don't want to say anything wrong, so I'm pretty sure he's Muslim. And he's always, he's always, as of lately, the last two times I got my cut, we've had some very deep conversations. This last particular time, I offended him because he was basically telling me that, and it was very interesting to me. He was basically telling me, he was saying, hey, yo, yeah, there is a spirit, there is a physical, but there's not one without the other, and the physical will always be above the spirit in a sense. Now I might be quoting that wrong, but but he was basically telling me that our physical is what allows our spiritual being to exist, and that we should not ever be scared to listen to man when it comes to certain information being brought to us, because we've always learned from man. And I was sitting back and I said, no, I said we're spirit, and it's like, and I told him respectfully, I said, you're coming from a religious, you know, viewpoint. And he was like, no, you're just assuming that. And I said, I'm not assuming that. I'm going off the information presented to me, where a lot of the quotes that are coming from, you're looking at the Quran. You're showing it to me. You have it right there. You're quoting Louis Farrakhan, etc. But regardless, if you don't want to feel that way, the reason I dispute what you're saying is because you can't put yourself in a position. You can't say basically, damn, I just lost my whole. What was I saying?
He was talking about how he said the body, I mean the human physical is better, is more important than the spirit.
Thank you. So he was saying that the human physical is basically more important. So I was basically telling him, I was like, no, we are spirit. I was like, we're basically spiritual beings, living, or at the various experiencing a physical moment. So at the end of the day, we're majority spiritual, and then we are physical. So by me telling him that, he didn't believe that. He was saying, he was like, no, that can't be the case. That can't be what it is. My bad, y'all. I lost my train of thought just a little bit. But him saying that, I was like, okay. I was like, I can understand that. That's cool. I'm like, that's how you feel. But okay, if that's the case, then where do you feel like you're gonna go after you die? Like, do you feel like you're just gonna float? Like, what's the case? Like, what's your idea on that? If you feel like, you know, the physical was over the spiritual, you know, in a sense. And he was like, look, I'm basically saying, when you know yourself, or you fully completely know yourself, you don't have to answer to no one. And when you don't answer to no one because of that, you'll be in a position where basically you'll be able to kind of like live forever, or be able to always, you know what I'm saying, be comfortable in the position or the state that you are in. And I combated and I said, you always have to answer to someone if you're living in this, you know, this particular society or in this today's world. I'm like, you ain't have no choice, because that's how the system's created. And I'm paraphrasing y'all, and I'm like, a lot of it, I'm like, I kind of went into this conversation. A lot of it, y'all wanted. I'm like, damn, I'm paraphrasing that, because it was a lot coming into it. But it was just interesting to me, the conversation or the debate that he was bringing to me, because I'm like, look, I don't agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like a lot of the space that you're coming from is because you're dealing with a particular type of religion, if that makes sense. And I'm like, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that particular type of religion. I'm not saying that. But a lot of your viewpoint is based off of religion, rather it being based off of experiences. Have both in hand so you can decipher what is real. So that was a long-winded of me getting there. And I missed out a lot of points because, by the way, I'm fluent, so I feel like I fucked up a lot of shit. But it was an interesting conversation. In the end, he ended up, he was basically he was saying, I basically asked him, I was like, hey, do you know one person that is free and knows themselves and doesn't have to answer to anybody? He said, yeah, Louis Farrakhan. And I said, okay. Do you know in this system, even though you feel that way, do you know at one point he did have to answer to someone? And he said, who? I said, do you know about the deal that they made with Scientology? And he was like, oh, no, that's fake. He was never a Scientologist, And then, he got upset. And he has a twin brother who cuts hair over there. He got upset, And I was like, y'all changing my argument. I never said he was a Scientologist. I never said he was with Scientology. I never said he supported it. I said they cut a deal. And I was like, I probably said the wrong thing. I said Louis Farrakhan. No, the Nation of Islam cut a deal at that time with Scientology, with the Scientology leaders, to make sure that they could go and spread their word in certain areas where they might be pressed by a different color, white people, where they can be safe and spread their message. I was like, that's documentation that's out there. And they got so upset. No. And I was like, okay. But I was like, you can't sit here. And they're younger than me. So I was like, I wanted to bring that card, but I was like, it's all good, man. You a follower right now. But I'm like, you can't sit here I'm presenting you with information that's fact, but you telling me that's wrong. And then I was like, okay, let's go ahead and take that out. Let's say that's not the case. You say he doesn't have to answer to anybody. But do you know there's classism in this world? He said, well, Louis Farrakhan, he got all this money, all the da-da-da. I mean, that's cool. He owns his own land. And I said, what would happen if he stops paying his taxes on that land that he owns? He was like, well, what? I was like, it'll get taken away by those people that you say that he doesn't have to answer to. It don't matter if he doesn't have any mortgage on, if he paid that out in cash all right. If he ain't paying his taxes, they'll take that shit away and put a lien on it. So how doesn't he answer to nobody? So he was supposed to, after I left, I said, text me, I'll send you the article. He never texted me. So I was like, okay, I could see. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So
I had to cool off on him to go get your hair cut for a minute, man. That's all I gotta tell you, man.
Why you saying that? You think he gonna fuck me up just because he mad?
Hey, man, people do a lot of weird things for weird reasons, man. Because to me, he wasn't even trying to listen. And that's the biggest thing to finding yourself. Because one thing he missed out on your whole message was, how can the physical be more over the spiritual when God speaks through people? We all have somewhat type of God in us. It's up to us and the free will to see if we gonna choose him or we not. That's really what it comes down to. He talking about you. If you once you know about yourself, I'm like, bro, did you not know Farrakhan is a baby of Elijah Muhammad? So clearly he listened to somebody else.
But see, he tried to change his subject because he was like, I actually talked with Louis Farrakhan. He was like, I spoke with Reza Islam. I was like, I don't care about none of that, bro. And then he tried to change it later when I was saying that. He was like, well, Louis Farrakhan, he didn't even he's not even with the Nation of Islam now. Like, he's separate. He was only coming up during that time. And that's when I was like, okay, sorry, I misspoke. If I said Farrakhan was the one who made the deal, no, but he was part of the Nation of Islam where they made a deal, Elijah Muhammad, with Scientology at the time, which was majority white people, to make sure that they were safe in certain areas to be able to spread their message so they want to be attacked, etc. And then they came at me and they was like, well, that means Malcolm X. If you're saying that means Malcolm X was there. I was like, y'all saying that like I was gonna be like, oh no, yeah, you're right. I was like, I don't know that. I didn't read that, so I can't speak on it. I don't know. But I know Louis Farrakhan was there, and I know Elijah Muhammad was there, but I didn't know about Malcolm. I don't know.
Did they not know Malcolm X left the movement and was killed because of that reason?
So I was like, I don't know if he was there. I'm not going to speak on that. But if he was, hey, okay, bet. I don't have no problem with that. But it's like you're presenting that to me as if I'm like, in my narrative, as if I'm going to be like a Malcolm X cheerleader. I'm not a cheerleader for nothing. But I know for a fact, or at least what's been presented, and you can look up and Google it easily, Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam. It was around the 1960s, 70s. They made a deal with Scientologists where they would be able to move in certain areas of the country, USA, where they wouldn't have any problems. I'm not saying they supported that narrative. I'm not saying they supported that agenda. I think they did the smartest thing at the time. And it's like, that's what was interesting to me. It was like, you guys are getting offended by me saying this. And I was like, that's actually very smart. Like, keep your enemies closer, keep your, you know what I'm saying?
Keep your friends close and enemies closer.
Oops. Yeah, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. I'm like, that's basically what they were doing. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it was interesting to me.
They wouldn't have liked me there because I for sure would have interjected, and they probably would have kicked me out the shop because I'd have been on their heads.
They wasn't mad. They wasn't mad. Like, I'm talking about. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get my hair cut. You know what I'm saying? They got me crispy.
But I'm just talking about as far as listening, right? Because
big ass moth over
as
there.
much as I fuck with Malcolm X, right? Let's not forget who Malcolm X was, right? He was a criminal, right? He was a hustler. He was doing things that quote unquote wasn't right? So then he joins the Nation of Islam and it helps turn his life around. Great, right? But then he also later in his quest, he starts seeing stuff that was going against what he was taught. He like, wait a minute, why can't I be at all these places and why can't I go speak in public and why can't I go to certain? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's what I'm tells me. I'm like, y'all must not know. I'm like, y'all want to say, well, Malcolm X was there. I'm like, who was to say Malcolm was for it? Because if he was for it, he wouldn't have probably died.
Well, I think he assumed, because especially nowadays, a lot of people who push back against Louis Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad, they're Malcolm X supporters.
But see,
Because we found out the rift that they had between each other. So I think he threw that out there quick because he probably assumed, he's like, oh, he's one of the Malcolm X guys. And I'm like, you don't even know. It's like, I'm not, bro. I'm not one of the guys. I love all of them. I respect Louis Farrakhan. I respect Elijah Muhammad. I respect Malcolm X. I respect Martin Luther King.
Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying?
Frederick Douglass. All these guys. I don't got. I'm like, nigga, this ain't
no. I'm gonna join one bandwagon. Yeah, like this ain't no damn Lakers versus the Celtics.
Yeah, nigga, like I'm a Celtics fan, you a Lakers fan, nigga, and I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm like, no, bro, like they all did something significantly to push forward and make sure that us as Black people are in a position where we're not suffering as much. But at the same time, there's still always a yin and a yang, and that's the flow. Like he kept on telling me, like it was very interesting, man, because he's a young brother, so I'm like, you really don't get it. So he kept on telling me, he was like, man, we're doomed. He was like, specifically, we're talking about the Black people, like, because they don't believe. If they were able to find out who themselves are as people, we would all be good. I was like, brother, it's not that. You really think it's that easy? It's that simple? He said, yeah, it's that simple. I was like, we live in a system. We live in an economic system that's been set up before you were alive. That's put us in a position where we're basically trying to catch up. And in order for us to catch up, all of us have to realize exactly what we need to do to make that capable. And the reason why that's so difficult is the same thing that you're saying that is actually accurate right now, which means that every day something's being built to distract us and make us not care about the shit we need to care about. But as long as we know our true self, we can be able to get out of all of that. I'm like,
hey, I'm gonna play this clip if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Fair use. I'm gonna say fair use because I don't know how how YouTube go about this. It's a clip, right? And it's crazy you say that. Now, this has nothing to do necessarily pertaining to that, but it goes into your comment about a system made before we were born, right? So I'm gonna play this video. So y'all, it's like 2 minutes, y'all. So have an attention span for 2 minutes from me, y'all, so y'all can get this good knowledge right here.
If you don't understand the destruction of Planned Parenthood offices, and you don't understand the wall that we're going to build on the southern border of the United States, you haven't read the book, The Birth Dearth by Ben Wattenberg. Ben Wattenberg was a brilliant Jewish man who was a member of the American Enterprise Institute. And he wrote a book, the first paragraph of which says, the main problem confronting the United States today is there aren't enough white babies being born in this country. He was an advisor to presidents of the United States. He wrote the book in 1987. He says if we don't change this and change it rapidly, white people will lose their numerical majority in this country, and this will no longer be a white man's land. Now, I'm not misrepresenting this. I'm telling you almost exactly what he says. He says there are 3 things we can do to solve this. Number 1, we could pay women to have babies, as they have been doing in Western European nations for years. Then he says, and these are his words, not mine, unfortunately, we would have to pay women of all colors to have babies, so we don't want to do that. He says the second thing we could do is increase the number of legal immigrants that are allowed into this country every year. Then once again, he says, unfortunately, the vast majority of those going to come to this country today are people of color, so we don't want to do that. The third thing he says, and women had better pay attention to this, 60% of the fetuses that are aborted every year are white. If we could keep that 60% alive, that would solve our birth dearth. Does that sound like racism to you?
Can you talk a little bit about the trauma associated with
the trauma associated with it? Yeah. One of the main traumas is it tells white people that they are superior because of the lack of melanin in their skin. And then they find out suddenly that we've got a Black president. That's traumatic. That's where their trauma is. Living a lie, finding out the truth is traumatic. Finding out now recently that within 30 years, white people will be in the numerical minority in this country is going to be traumatic. White people are scared to death right now, particularly white males. They're scared to death that they are going to lose their power in the future. And they are. But if you want to get ready for the future, if you want to be treated well in the future, treat others well in the present. What we do in the present constructs the future. Stand.
So I played that video so y'all could see that it's a structure out here, man. And that's a micro chip in the puzzle, right? That's just abortion that they're talking about, right? And that's big hot in the country right now. Everybody's up in arms about the overturn of the decision. It is crazy though, because one of my homies, he posted, he's like, a lot of y'all are so mad about a decision y'all don't even know about. Y'all don't even know what Roe v. Wade was even about. You know what I mean? And like, because he was saying, because you know, he had people going back and forth with him saying, you just aren't you just don't you can't speak on women. He was like, look, all I'm saying is that case was all designed because a white woman said a black man raped them, and the court favored the white woman to say she doesn't have to carry a child that she doesn't want.
And then let's go a little bit further, man. Let's dive a little bit deeper into this. So this is actually proven statistics. So majority of the women that get abortions usually average around the salary of 40,000 plus. Okay. With that being the case, if the average women who's actually having abortions are averaging around the salary of 40,000 plus, you know, just to be 100% honest, you know, take away race, no racism, we both black, but majority of the women who are making that amount of money usually are in the Caucasian descent. It's not the African American community. Also, you have to understand when it comes to poor communities or lower class, usually they're more prone to actually keep their babies.
That's true.
So you have to think about it. Who is really affected by the abortion numbers? Is it the minority or is it the majority?
Supposedly the majority. And it goes back to what this lady was saying. And this was written in 1987, bro. That was 3 decades ago.
Talk to it.
You know what I mean? I'm like, this problem has been notified for years on years on years. I remember when we had Brother Dant in the crib, he was saying, remember he was saying that? He was saying, he spoke on that, what, 2015, 16, some year in that realm, right? So it's like, this has been a national, well, I can't say national. This has been a knowing thing if you're up to date.
But you got to think about it. Even with this happening the way that it happened, it's still not a knowing thing.
Exactly.
Because people are still not going to talk about the real reason why this has happened. Exactly. People are still going to make it a morality thing. You see people protesting in the streets, all these different things. They're talking and protesting about the wrong things. They're making it about a humanity type of thing. And that's not the case. Everything is agenda. There's a reason for everything. They didn't just overturn this because they thought, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're going to make it right. Just like marijuana. There's always a reason behind it all. I'm like, don't think you're willy-nilly out here smoking free and not getting caught up like we used to it back in the day just because they're like, oh, yeah, we don't see that drug. No, they still see it the same way. It's just we found a way to make money off of it.
And tax it. But to stem it back to those young brothers that you had that debate with, it's interesting because they said to you with so much confidence, when you find yourself, you don't have to answer to anybody. And I think y'all have to answer to somebody because y'all got this building, right? You don't own this building. This isn't your building. This is something you're leasing to. So one day, the owner could be like, I don't want y'all motherfuckers here. I don't give a fuck how much money you giving me. Get the fuck out. And he can do that. Depending on what type of contract y'all signed or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Or he could say, well, after this contract's over, y'all got to find a new spot. You answering to him because you're either going to say, okay, bet, or you're going to say, why? Please, can we stay? I'll give you more rent. So you're still answering to somebody, even if you quote unquote say you found yourself. And I'm just thinking like, it's easier said than done to say that you found yourself, right?
Well, that's the cop out. Because at the end of the day, we don't know if you found yourself or not. We don't know who the fuck you is.
Exactly. A lot of us don't know who we are.
Just like the Boyz. Remember when A-Train was talking to Huey and he was like, I'm sorry. I didn't know what I did. Da-da-da-da. It's like, I could tell that you're really sorry, but at the same time, I'm like, nigga, bro, like that don't make no difference. I'm like, you still telling me sorry at this particular function where I don't think you that sorry because why would you be here? I think you be at the crib trying to figure shit out or trying to be a better superhero, but you here on some, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're not like, you only thought about it because I said something to you, bro. So it's the same thing.
You know what I mean? But it's just interesting because I'm just like, how can he say that you don't have to answer to somebody, but you're religious, right? So you do have to answer somebody, and that's supposed to be God, right? Well, how do you know when God is speaking to you? You get what I'm saying? How do you know? If you're saying that you know who you are, I don't have to listen to anybody. Well, what that knowledge means, you're going to miss out what God is speaking to you. And isn't that whole purpose of your religious journey? Quote unquote, correct? Because you know us, Flu. We might have been in the church, but I'm not religious. I'm not gonna speak on you. I'm not religious, but I know there's a higher being, you know what I'm saying? Regardless what the title you want to give him, creator, whatever. You know that, right? Well, I'm saying, I know that, right? But within that, I'm not gonna be so hell-bent to think what I know is right when God could be showing me what's right. You know what I mean? You could say something to me and it could change my whole life, bro. And you got to think, did he change my life or was that God speaking to me? But you will never know if you have a mindset thinking that you already know yourself.
But see, that's the thing. That's the interesting part when I was having that conversation with my barber, where he was adamant on telling me that, like, basically he kept on telling me, he was like, it's so crazy in the world now because there's no such thing as your truth or your truth. There's only the truth. And I was like, I agree with that. There's only fact and there's fiction, right? But then he kept telling me that the Quran, what he read from, is the truth. He said you can't divert from that. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, because if you're arguing against someone who says this is my truth because this is what I said, this is the people I talk to, but then you're going to tell them the truth that you believe it is from a book written by a man, and it was interpreted. How is there any difference? And he kept telling me, he was like, well, didn't you learn everything from a man? Tell me one thing you didn't learn from a man. I said, breathing, blinking, walking. And he was, oh no, I'm not talking about things that happen in your subconscious. And I'm like, well, now you're moving the goalposts, because it's like you asked me what did I learn without a man teaching me or somebody who's a human form teaching me. Those are things that taught me. And that's why I believe the spirit is stronger, because the subconscious is stronger than the physical. You can teach me something, but you as a man, you can never teach me how to blink my eyes. If I lose my voice, you can never teach me how to get my voice back. So how are you going to tell me human? So it was interesting to me. Then he had another argument with me where he was basically like, we're the superior, basically.
And that's very deep, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like you gave him an answer and he didn't like that the answer was that brilliant. You get what I'm saying? So that
I could tell everybody in that barbershop was feeling, because they were all religious in the same way. So I could tell everybody was like, man, this dude is really, he pushing back. Like, what's up? Like, I could tell none of them liked anything I was saying, because everything was totally against what they believed in. You know what I'm saying?
Because you know what it is, Flu? People misconstrue when you speak that you're trying to be right. You're just kind of giving, like the other night.
I'm just opening people's minds. That's it. I'm not saying what I'm saying is the right thing. I'm not saying everything I'm saying is, but I'm just like, yo, don't be so closed-minded. This is think about this as well. Just think about this. I'm not saying what I'm saying is right. I'm just saying, I'm just thinking about this. Don't be so dead end set on this is what it is, because I'm like, he kept on trying to tell me, like, he was like, well, the truth is before us, after us, all this stuff. I'm like, if that's the case, then so is life. So why do you think you, in this short span that we live in, this entirety of life, has the answers? That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Because if we can even take into when we was talking about the sports, you had your opinion on, we was having our discussion. You was like, well, You know what I'm saying? You was like, you think I'm coming at you right now? I'm like, no, I don't think that. You feel me? But when you speak certain things, and that's not what your brain has been accustomed to, and you have somebody else saying something else that's going against it, the first thing people want to be is defensive, right? Instead of being like, all right, let me hear what he's kind of saying, right? So after we got done with our conversation, even if I don't agree in the moment, and that's fine. That's what whole debates is about, right? Talking is always not about agreeing. If that was the case, harmony would be in the world right now, right? But It's not. So the fact that I can hear, but see, I've been around you, and I'm not like I always tell people, I'm not always trying to tell you when I speak I'm right. It's all about getting to an understanding of what's the most logical answer. Because there's stuff out there that is just what it is, right? Like we all breathe. That's a fact. That's nothing that you can refute. That, oh well, actually, we all don't breathe. Like yes, we all breathe. We all
No
breathe.
one teaches you how to do it.
Exactly. You just do it. As soon as you are out the womb, you breathing
You
and
start
blinking
breathing.
and talking and
You
yawning.
learn how to breathe before talking, and I would say breathing is much harder than talking because nigga, you can live this life without learning how to talk, but you can't live this life without learning how to breathe.
Exactly. You can't live this life without sleeping,
Bruh. I'm like, nigga, you don't get taught how to wake up from your sleep.
Did somebody teach you how to dream, bro?
None of that is taught to you.
Exactly. So my point was when you was talking to those Yell's brothers, they never had somebody that actually did his footwork, his groundwork, his research, and actually dabbled in his own curiosities and was like, hey, I'm not saying what you're saying is 100% wrong, but it isn't necessarily the full truth.
And that's why I kept telling him, I was like, bro, we're kind of arguing semantics here. Like, I feel like we're agreeing to disagree, but you don't necessarily want to acknowledge what I'm saying because it's not rooted in your religion. And he kind of took that a certain way. I was just like,
why? You know why, bro? Because this is what a lot of religious people, it's not just Muslims, it's like everybody, right? If I went to a Christian right now, right, and let them know, like, you have a whole religion based off of fear and lies, somebody would tell me I'm going to hell. You going to hell, boy.
Yeah.
You going to hell talking about that religion. But I'm just like, look,
aren't you condemning me?
Yeah, why are you condemning me for speaking something that is actually true? Because I'm like,
or I feel, I'm like, I'm like, in the Bible, it clearly says, like, you don't have any right to condemn me. That's not your judge. You're not the person to make the judgment. That's God's. But we see it all the time. So that's a very glaring hypocrisy, but it's like,
what do you even think it is,
it's
though,
interesting
right?
aspect.
I say, but do you even think it is, right? If you're so religious, right, and you're saying that this Bible is everything, right, and I'll go against you, right, and then you tell me I'm going to hell, then what are you going to go, especially if you're a person that might be racist, or you might be a person that has hateful, viewpoints on a particular people or person or how people go about their lives. What makes you better than them when you're sitting here judging them like you're God? And that's not your job. Your job is to do what? God says you're supposed to lead them to me. You're supposed to be a missionary for me and lead people to my word so we can live in eternal life. What you're doing is you're saying that I am a certain type of person. And then you're on top of that telling me where I'm going to go as if you spoke to God personally and was like, yo, let Chandler know that he going to hell. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting because I'm like like I said, it's a lot of religious people where it's just like, don't y'all so caught up in that word and all the lessons that y'all might have learned from was from a pastor. Who's to say that pastor is that righteous? Who's to say that pastor doesn't know how to get his money? Because at the end of the day, the word is one of the most powerful things in this world. And if you know how to speak it and you know how to manipulate it,
you're going to get money off the back.
Come on, man.
Everything is built. Like, think about how much money people make off of just having a word and be able to make people like get behind it and have a following. Like, that's the whole drive behind the internet. That's the whole drive behind big YouTube channels, news channels, TV shows. Is all about getting behind a character and what they say and being like, I support it. Like, that's how powerful words are. It's like people really want to try and like minimize the power of words, and they want to try and, make it a big deal. It's like, oh, if I look this type of way or if I act this type of way, none of that shit matters. Like, that's what I love about the Boyz, man. In that scene with Stan Edgar and Homelander, I think it was episode 5 when Homelander rolled up. It was after Edgar. He got exposed or whatever, and they was going to take him to jail, or whatever. And Edgar, he was cool, calm, and collect. And Homelander, he was just talking his shit. He was like, I don't understand why you're still here. Edgar was like, he's like, bro, like, why are you even talking to me right now? Like, you the big boy in charge. Like, you got everything you wanted. Like, the fact that you even here talking to me, gloating in my face, it really just looks like you really still need approval from me. Like, I'm really still that nigga to you. Like, I still, even though you have all these superpowers, you have super strength, you can fly fast, you can do whatever you want. My words the ability and the reign that I have over people just depended on what I can say in my voice that bothers you. And you know that. And I'm like, that's just real life. That's why I fuck with the boys, man. Shit fire, man.
Facts, man. I know it's just interesting, man. Like I said, I don't want nobody to come up on here and be like, "Oh, these guys right here," or what's the word? Like, I don't know.
Let them know, man. I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, let
Like,
people
you know, like y'all,
opinion.
those boys right there, they need to get with God. They need to come to my church and all that. But I'm just like, it's funny
Not their
because
opinion.
y'all want to preach about going to church, but nowhere in the Bible does it say that you need to go to church to praise God.
They
Nowhere.
just say that you just need to be in and I'm Fluence, but like when two or threes and is
Yeah, 2 or
gathered in the
3 more
same
presence in
room.
the church. The spirit can be upon you.
But you could easily come at us and be like, yo, like now y'all capping because like that same book that y'all talking about, oh, was written by man. Now you want to say, oh, that's word. So it's like I get it that in that way too. Like I'm not that type of person. Like
But
I see it all ways. I see it 100% every way. Like there's a rebuttal for every fact. Let's be 100, regardless of how you feel about it.
But it's like this. Look, okay, even though man could have wrote the Bible, right? We're not saying that man maybe not did that, right? But it came from God himself, correct? The only thing
But how do you know that though?
but see, that's the thing. We don't know that, right? But that's where the faith got to come in and you got to just find your own, you feel me? You got to read it and you got to find your own convictions, right? Because I'm like, that's the whole journey of life, right? Finding out what the truth is. And that's hard because it's a world full of lies, right? So it's like God gonna teach you and touch you when he wants to touch you, or when he knows like, okay, this brother's trying or this sister is trying. I'm gonna give him the answers he's looking for, right? If you go searching, you can go find it. You know what I mean?
But like in my head, the way I see it is like this world that we've lived in is so much bigger than the time that we spend on it. You see what I'm saying? It's like we can be as nonchalant as we can, and this is how I see it, but we can be as nonchalant as we want to, because especially now, internet, everything moving fast. We live in the moment, we live for right now. So it's very easy to say, I'm not thinking about the Temptations. I'm not thinking about the Jackson 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, I'm like that's old school. I'm not thinking about David Ruffin. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about these type of things. But it's like, do you understand that was real life before we was here? We always in the moment now. So it's like we have to understand that like this time, this life that we live is going to keep moving forward, whether or not we here or we not. We're always going to have an opinion on how this shit should go. But there's going to be something put into place and a system put into place that's going to last a lot longer than us being here. So it's like, with that being the case, how do you maneuver within that and still, you know what I'm saying? At the very least, be like, all right, I'm cool with what I'm doing. Because there's a system within everything. Whether you at the top, middle, higher middle, lower middle, there's something where it's like, all right, this is what I got to abide by and have to do on a consistent basis. Which, to me personally, and I'm a little on the Fluence side, I'm like, that's fucked up. That's what it is. Like, think about the niggas. Like, there's probably some niggas just like us 20 years ago doing the same shit. You see me? Like, that's the type of shit that be going through my head.
But that shows me that, if you really, you know what I'm saying, like trying to get right with God, because like the book says, we're all saved by grace, right? So God knows all the distraction. God knows, you feel me? That's why he sent, quote unquote, devil, Satan, whatever you want to call him. And people always want to have this depiction of what he looks like and woo, woo, woo. I'm like, at the end of the day, the devil could be a spirit, right? If he was in heaven at one point, he's a spirit. It's not somebody you can really necessarily see unless God wants him to be seen, right? Whatever. But within that, as long as you trying to do right, and what right is, you feel it in your soul, right? It's not right to go kill your mama, right? Everybody should know that. It's not right to really even kill nobody unless self-preservation kicks in and it's like, it's either me or him. I got to defend myself, right? But within that being said, I'm saying trying to live a certain life to where it's like you're not doing anything to create havoc. You're trying to create peace, right? You could be at work, somebody's coming at you negatively. You can notify that and be like, I'm gonna kill him like this. Boom, you have a whole nother approach where it's like you avoid even you getting to a certain point, but you also let that person know, like, look, bro, we're not having that. Right? So you're doing the best of both worlds. You're taking the high road, but in the high road, you're still winning because you're like, look, I won because I didn't let you get me to where you thought you got you was about to get me. You know what I mean? And that's what the temptation is. People always refer to the, the forbidden fruit. The forbidden fruit is something that you want to do and you shouldn't do it. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I want to go beat somebody's ass because he stepped on my Jordans, I shouldn't do that. So that's the forbidden fruit I should not go partake in. Now, I'm not saying
So
that's what.
this is where my devil's advocate, me being in, talking to my barber, sparking up this type of conversation where I'll be the type of nigga where I'll be like, so someone will be like, well, someone step on my Jordans, you shouldn't do that. Like, it's just Jordans. But it's like, what is my whole life? Everything, like, I make all my money from wearing Jordans, collecting Jordans, reselling them. Like, you stepping on my shit, you fucking with my money. Then where does it come? You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's always a situation where you can definitely put something out there and be like, well, it's like, we can't make it that simple. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm saying that's why I said we saved by grace, because I'm not trying to tell you to go be perfect. We all gonna fall short, right? We all gonna do something that we should. Exactly. We all, and that's the whole beauty of life.
From.
So it's
you
like,
can't take that away from us. We're yin and yang, no matter what the case is.
But that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying there's always when you make a list, right, on pros and cons, you never really have a list that's probably equal, right? It's usually this got a little bit more than that, or this one got way more than that, and this one got way less, or whatever, right? So when you make the list.
Real quick, not even to interrupt you, I'm gonna fuck you up even more. A lot of people don't want to make a list of pros and cons because they know a lot of times the cons probably gonna outweigh the pros. So it's like, man, fuck that. I'm just gonna believe in my pros, nigga. But they don't understand how much cons is going on in their life.
But you get what I'm saying? And Flu, I know what type of nigga you is, right? You always do a list of pros and cons usually when you're doing stuff, right? Even when you was
in my head, I don't write it out no more, but definitely in my head. Facts.
But when you was even texting me this week, I'm not even gonna get what you was texting me, because that's none of nobody's business. But when you was texting me on what you was talking about, that's a pros and cons list. It was very short. You didn't list everything, but you was having that list in your head, right? So it's the same thing when you're out here doing whatever you're doing, right? If somebody steps on your Jordan, what's the pros to beating his ass, or whatever you think it is, or what's the cons between, you feel me? So it's like, that's what I'm saying, like, and that's why I said we saved by grace, because God knows it's impossible. He knows we're not perfect. He knows that we're not always gonna make the right decision, but it's like, can you know at the end of the day that I'm gonna be there for you no matter the decisions you make, whether it's good or bad?
You'll never know unless you a special type of nigga. Like, that's why I always be, when I be like, it's like, man, when I was a young nigga, I wanted to be, I wanted to be in the NBA. I wanted to be a rap star, all this type of different shit. But I'd be looking at these people. I'd be like, man, having that type of money and having to deal with business decisions, the decision that will alter your life if you do the wrong shit in the long run, it's like, I could never do that, because I know I would fuck up, because I want to be in the right mindset. Like, where I'm at right now, I'm blessed. It's because I'm like, I'm cool. I'm able to handle shit, but at the same time, I'm able to look at shit from the outside looking in and understand that it's like people will take advantage of you, because at the end of the day, I'm like, this life isn't about helping people out. And a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, anybody who think that's what the case is like, oh, I'm finna go in this world, and if I show what I really got and I got potential, someone's gonna be there to help me out. Like, nah, nigga, it's always gonna be about what you can do for yourself. It's always gonna be about what you can get for yourself, because that's this life we live in. And that's what I was kind of trying to tell the young brother that cut my hair. Like, I was like, I understand, like, yeah, that's cool, man. Be on the religious tip, keep yourself solid, keep yourself good. But don't be fooled and think that, nigga, like, you're going to change the whole aspect of our community and say that as long as you know yourself, we always going to be 100. Like, no, we always going to have to answer to someone. Like, for you to disrespect our community and be like, that's all it takes, that's mad disrespectful. And he was talking about, oh, you got to be in the trenches and da-da-da-da. I'm like, nigga, you don't even know where I'm at. Like, bro, I don't even have to be where I'm at right now. Don't cap on nothing. Like, nigga, this is all a game. This is a monopoly, my nigga. And shit is in place for a reason, nigga. I don't give a fuck. And he kept saying, like, if we choose to fight back, and it's just like, I'm like, bro, you don't understand how strong the powers that be are. I'm not saying there's no hope. That's not what I'm saying. I understand how, like, optimistic you are because you are a young nigga, but just like you talking about, the truth was way before you were alive, and it's gonna be here after you die. This system was here before you were alive, and this system's gonna be here after you die, nigga. So
But you know what's
you
interesting?
don't got all the answers.
He made that statement sound like it's so white black, but he don't even know himself. Because if he did, he wouldn't be saying something like, "We got to
But
push
he
back."
said that though. He was like, I told him, I was like, I literally, it's interesting you said that because I literally said, I was like, you trying to make it seem like it's so white and black. I'm like, you understand there's so many gray areas in this life. And he said, nah, it really is that white and black. And I was just like,
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that statement,
fuck out of
but
here.
then you trying to talk about us pushing back, and you got to push back, and da 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 da. You're talking about something that you cannot control, right? In the book, it says God is going to take care of those people that aren't living right or aren't going to be righteous, bro. That's not our job, right?
But he thinks that we do have the control. He thinks because we've decided that we can't control it is the reason why we're not able to be in that position. He thinks we have more power than the system that is at bay, that has been created. Like he literally was just telling me, like, as long as we believe in ourselves and we understand who we are, we never have to worry about poverty and nothing like that. And I'm just like, bro, you know what classism is? You know what the economy is? Like, nigga, that has nothing to do with race, religion, nothing, nigga. That's a system that's been built into the world that I live. Like, nigga, not only this country, bro, but we have people from the UK. Last one was up in here yesterday. I'm like, nigga, this isn't like, bro, this is bigger than us. Like,
but
don't
you know
be
what's
so
even crazier? To his point, I'm like, bro, if that was the case, right? Who's to say that all those people that died in that flood didn't think they knew themselves?
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it was only 4 people that lived after that flood.
Think about that shooting that just happened.
Huh?
I said, think about that shooting that just happened with those young kids. I'm like, you think them young kids had even time to develop, even think about anything other than life they're living in? And you trying to tell me as long as we just
we
that's
find,
very
you know what I'm saying?
disrespectful.
Yeah, it's disrespectful, but it's an ignorant statement because it's just like, bro, you can't condemn our people for something that we've been affected by, right? If you're being affected by something, it's easy to tell that person, all you gotta do is pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And it goes back to when that lady was saying, when she was like, people are so lazy, it's just sort of work. But I'm like, it's easy for you to say that because you came from a different type of country and you left that oppression that you was in. If we could leave our own oppression that we're in and go somewhere else and thrive, don't you think that we would do it?
Talk about it.
You get what I'm saying? So it's easy to just always make a statement that benefits your thoughts, but I'm like, are you looking at it in the totality? Are you looking at it from a certain?
And this shows how unbiased me and Zen are, by the way, because this is coming like you would think we would be this combative. Like this comes from like my bar. I love my barber. I'm finna be back. Hopefully he never comes across this, so he doesn't make you get mad and try to fuck my hairline up. But I'm like he's Muslim, so it's like it's not us coming at a certain race or anything like that. This is us literally saying like you got. Like we realize like there's both aspects of the world where like think about the pressure that's put at like when I think about young black men and if you're not aware, it's like there's so much pressure put on them where it's like people are telling them they can't live a normal life. Like it's got to be this, it's got to be that, rather than just being like, compete, be in school, do what you do, don't worry about the extras, and you can still be great. But there's gonna be so much pressure from being like, no, you got to act this way so you can really be about your people. And there's gonna be this pressure where it's gonna be like, no, you got to be this way so you can get into this school. Or, I'm just like, man, it's a shit show. It's only getting worse, in my opinion.
But to the point, and I just want to, so we can wrap this up because we can move on to something else. Cause I don't want to harp on it.
Definitely.
But the fact that he's saying that he doesn't have to answer to anybody as long as he knows himself, bro, you have to answer to God. That's who you have to answer to, brother. You keep worrying about man. Yeah, okay, you think that you don't have to answer to somebody, but at the end of the day, like you said, this is a game, my boy. And you're not even in the game you're not even in a position in the game to be in importance. You know what I mean? You're like that fan in the crowd that's clapping. You're not even out there on the court. You're not even on the bench. You know what I mean? It's like God wiped the earth out, and what was his message to the world? That he would never do that again, right? He sent the rainbow, right? That's crazy. Why? And it's crazy because it's like now the rainbow is it has a different meaning now. It doesn't even have that same meaning.
Talk about it. That's damn. I ain't never thought about it, but I'm like, damn, think about that. I'm like, when we was growing up, the rainbow meant something. The most the fantasy thought you would have for the rainbow was like, oh, it led to the pot of gold for a leprechaun. That was the most like. That's what the rainbow meant, and you was like wilding, you type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cartoonish. Like okay, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead, my bad.
No, you good, but I'm just like the whole purpose of the rainbow is to show God's love for earth that he would never flood it again. So that showed that there was a correction that needed to happen, because maybe there's a whole lot of people that thought they quote unquote knew themselves and they didn't have to answer to nobody. And God said, oh, is that right? All right, well, no, go ahead and make that art. Everybody gonna call you crazy, but in due time, you gonna see. And he just said, all right, I'm gonna go build this art. He probably in himself. And think about that. This is how people get that Bible so misconstrued. It's like, who's to say that Noah wasn't even in doubt? Who's to say that he was building that shit? Like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I building it? Right? And then when it was, he's like, all right, God, we built this thing. Now what? And all of a sudden, he seen 2 of every animal come into his boat unannounced. He like, oh shit.
This shit for real. Like, what?
You get what I'm saying?
You ain't give me no guidance, but okay, this is really happening right now.
It's happening. You know what I'm saying? And then when the doors closed, because he didn't close it, right? God closed the door.
Yeah,
he
so
like
he set it up for him.
He like,
from what it says in the books. We ain't saying that's factual, whatever, but what it says in the books.
He said he closed it, right? So regardless, my thing is you answering to somebody, right? And stop trying to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, not everybody's going to get saved, right? Not everybody going to get rich. Not everybody's going to be blessed.
Even when we're talking about, like, they'll be offended because it's always a religion based. So it's like, if it doesn't align with your religion, it's like, yo, I don't want to hear it. It's like, I get that too, because I'm like, no one knows the answers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one knows. Like I said, I'm like, we don't have whatever we have to say, but when we pass away, shit gonna keep going. I'm like, that's why there's, you know what I'm saying? There's babies getting born in the hospital right now. And so I'm gonna start the whole entire, and I'm like, I feel like people don't be thinking about that or putting that into perspective, where it's like, or you just don't want to think about it because you want to feel like this life is forever. But it's like the same way niggas want to be like, oh, there's no bitches every day. Like, nah, there's babies being born every day right now, where it's gonna be like, nigga, when our day comes, like, it's gonna be replaced, where it's gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be continuous. So it's like, that's the crazy part of life.
And even think about this though, bro. Who's to say that nothing is by accident, right? Like, think about, they say there's 1 million sperm cells in, you know, the sac or whatever, right? It's not luck that you got here, right? Energy is transfer, right? So it's like, I think, and this is my opinion, people gonna probably be like, that sounds crazy, but I'm like, I think in this life, as long as you try to live somewhat honestly in the corruption for the lies, and you try to, you know what I'm saying, use your good judgment to do right, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we all say about grace, right? But you try to do as much right. I think everybody looks at it as heaven and the pearly gates and stuff. I think it's just that you'll be able to have your spirit reincarnate at a later date in life, right? That's my opinion, right? I think at one point you're going to come back as a different type of human being, but your soul and spirit will be the same, right? And then that's just my opinion, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like, they say that energy can't be dead, right? When you die, your energy is just not, it doesn't just stay in your body, right? It'll leave the body and then it'll go into, you know, space, time, wherever it goes. But I'm like you said, we don't have the answers, but who's to say that your spirit can't be reincarnated in another body, right? Who's to say that method is far-fetched? Who's to say that, you know what I'm saying, that's the eternal life aspect, where it's like, instead of your soul just kind of dying out because you didn't do right by what God kind of wanted you to do, he's like, all right, give me some time. We're going to find you a no, you know what I'm saying? Because this billions of galaxies, right? It's foolish for us to think that this is the only place life is being created. You know?
Can I say this? It's very interesting that you said something like that. And this isn't something me and Zen ever, like, we don't ever like pre-talk about what we finna talk about, nothing like that. Everything's always off the loop. So as I've gotten older, I've been leaning more toward believing in reincarnation, which has been interesting to me because I never would have believed in that before. But I believe in it in a sense of where not we're going to be reincarnated where, oh, nigga, this is what I did in my last life, so I can do this better. No, I think literally we'll be reincarnated. We won't even know that we were ever even on this earth before. It's going to be actually, and shit, nigga, we might be a plant, an animal. Like, I truly believe that, because This is another thing I want to talk about when I was talking about with my barber, because he told me, he was like, we're superior than animals, aren't we? And I said, it all depends on what the aspect is. He said, what you mean? The mind is everything. The brain is everything. We're more intelligent, so we're better than them. And I said, no, that's not true. There are certain aspects where, yes, being more intelligent than something wins. But if we're in their habitat, if I'm in the jungle with a lion, nigga, I ain't winning. Oh, that's because you're in their habitat. So if we're superior than them, why do they have a habitat? Don't you think we would be able to dominate every aspect of the world if we were superior than a lion, a cheetah, a bear?
Man,
Shit,
you
nigga, a coyote.
Going to the ocean. Let's see if you coming outside of an octopus, boy.
Nigga, talk about it, bro. So
that
I'm like,
octopus is winning, my boy.
Don't be so black and white with this world. Like, yeah, we're smarter than all these creatures. But nigga, we know better than to go into their habitat, because we'll get fucked up. But why is that? Does that make us better than them? Like, that's an interesting thought to really process.
Exactly. But see, I believe
if we try to have a lion as a pet, like we had a dog as a pet, who you think is going to be the owner and the master?
Exactly.
You feel me? I'm like, we got the domesticated, yeah, we got a pit bull. A pit bull is crazy. Right? The narrative on a pit bull is they crazy, they can kill people. But yo, we see pit bulls as loving, right? Mm-hmm. How many lions you gonna see that tame? How many tigers, nigga? Coyotes, bro. Let's go to coyotes. You feel me?
Raccoons.
Nigga, raccoons is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said them, boy. I'm afraid of them joints, boy.
I'm scared.
They crazy.
Nigga.
But no, reincarnation, I believe is real, bro. And I think it's somewhere in the Bible. If I I have to read up on it. But people the Bible has so much in it, and that's why I'm telling you about your local pastor. Y'all so hell-bent on how he's going to tell you the word, and you don't even go and read it for yourself and perceive what God probably is trying to speak to you. Who's to say that pastor is saved? Let that marinate for a little bit.
Or even if they're saved, you got to understand, what I've realized, growing up, I grew up in the church. I went through a lot of different churches, is that, excuse me, you can be saved, but you can believe something completely different than the other person who's saved. You can be like, I'm a saved individual, but I believe Jonah, when he was in that whale's belly, he actually punched his way out of it, and he ended up building his own raft, and he got his way to freedom. And then another person would be like, well, no, I believe that he was in there and the Bible. So I'm like,
I say that Jonah story was hoobla. That's just me.
I don't know, man. Let's talk about that Muhammad never prophesied anything. So how is he a prophet? But they say he's a prophet, though. Elijah Muhammad is a prophet. It's not me being disrespectful. Look, I got a lot of smoke. I'm gonna go back. When I gotta get my hair cut again, I'm gonna get it cut. You feel me? He was supposed to text me, and I was like, look, bro, when I go out of this, I don't think about this shit like this. But it's I'm older than you, so it's I went through all that shit. I went through trying to find all that stuff. I understand, you feel me? But it's I'm not I kept asking them. I was like, why do you feel like I'm disrespecting what you guys believe in? Because I said they made a deal with Scientology. That's not disrespectful. That's business. But it's because you guys are young. Yeah, I don't understand that you're always going to be compromised when it comes to money if you're not the superior.
But you know why also, bro? Is because we're trained. So if you're on a certain, it's like me, right? And I admit it, right? I didn't want Boston to win, right? Why? I don't like Boston, and I'm a Laker fan, right? So it's the same thing. Why don't you want me to
who was gonna win though? You didn't believe me.
I said Warriors though. I called them too. I said in 6.
But I was the first one. I told you. You knew. Don't play me. I was the one who said, I was like, the Warriors gonna win this year. Am I lying?
Now you had the Bucks.
No. I said the Bucks were gonna be in the finals, but I said the Warriors gonna win. I said it was gonna be the Warriors versus the Bucks, but the Warriors gonna win.
Well, I think the Bucks could have beat them if they was healthy. Maybe, they didn't have nobody to stop Giannis.
I'm just saying, I was that one nigga. I was the one nigga that was going crazy. I said the Warriors finna win. I've been saying it for the longest.
But back to my point, You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you're a Muslim, you're basically saying I can't learn from a Christian, right? But at the end of the day, we're all trying to search for one person, right? And that's God. So I'm like, we're letting these
Talk
religions,
about it, Zen.
we're letting these religions stop us from learning the truth. And that's our biggest problem.
So let me add on to what Zen just said, because that's a beautiful thing, man. Like, you a smart motherfucker, man, nigga. For you always been, man. But just to add on just a little bit to that, just a little bit, is everyone has to stop being so closed-minded but act like they're open-minded. Right? You can't be in a religion, which is fine. Be in a religion and support it, but then be like, if someone's bringing information that's outside of that religion that might combat it, I can't hear it. That's being closed-minded. And that's what I see. Like, when I was talking to him, I kept telling him, I was like, we're agreeing to disagree, and you don't agree with anything I'm saying because I know you feel like I'm coming from a place where it's not based off of your religion. And he's like, you just assuming that, black man. I said, no, nigga, like, you have the whole belt. I didn't say that. You know, I wanted to be there. I was like, no, because I want to make sure my hair, you know what I'm saying, you got my cut good still. But it's like in my head, like, no, nigga, like, bro, like, I get to, and then when the Louis Farrakhan shit came up, I'm like, how you gonna tell me this shit is not based off of religion? You getting mad emotional when I brought up Louis Farrakhan, Scientology, all that type of shit.
But that's like, what a lot of people don't understand. I'm just like, and that's why it's disrespectful. You try to make something so black and white, right? Because it's just like, bro, your emotions is leading you to just say things just so you can win a conversation. You didn't really do your due diligence. You didn't really go out here and go search for the real truth. Because to find the real truth, you really got to go to every religion on to be real with you. If you really, and I'm not saying that's the only way, but I'm saying if you're sitting here trying to really preach to me and say this is what it is,
talk about it,
then you're gonna have to go to all the truths, right?
Yes. Yeah.
If you're gonna say 2 + 2 = 4, you're gonna have to make sure that you got everything checked off to be like, there's no other way to get to 4 other than 2 + 2 or whatever. You feel me? And then somebody's like, well, absolutely. 3 + 1 gets to 4. Now motherfuckers like, damn. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, there's another way to get to 4. It's not just 2 + 2.
Exactly. So I'm like, if there's only one way to get to God, then you feel me? We all should have one religion.
Damn. Don't fuck niggas up like that. They ain't ready for that.
My bad, man. I be thinking deep, man. It's been a lot going on, man. I have to get in my thinking cap.
And I want to say this to a lot of y'all right now. I want to salute the Let's Talk About It. I appreciate you, brother, man. Look, hey, ain't no other boxing channel you finna come on where we coming on with some real deep topics, real clear, precise,
open-minded,
coming out beautifully. You know what I'm saying?
But open-minded too.
Because I'm like, me and Zen kind of on a whole different page, but kind of on the same page. Let's talk about it. He on a whole different page, really, but he ain't here. We talking. You know what I'm saying?
Your soul and spirit are two different things, and your soul is tainted with all the influence around you. I agree.
But see, but the brother I was talking to come on here, he didn't believe that. Like he felt like they were two separate things, but he felt like your body or your physical was more important than the spirit. I don't want to, like, it would hurt my feelings if I believe my physical was more important than my spirit. I need to believe my spirit is more powerful than my spirit. My physical.
And you know what? You want to know how that your spirit is more powerful than your physical?
I need that
spirit but no, it's your spirit that heals you, bro. Everybody keeps thinking it's your body that's healing itself. It's the spirit within your body that heals you, bro.
Because we're talking about the subconscious, right?
Exactly. When you sleep, who tells you to go to sleep? Your brain. Who tells your brain? Who tells you?
You don't have any control. You're not learned that. And that's what was so interesting to me. But he was a younger dude, but that was so interesting to me when he was talking about these things, because I was like, bro, the most important things for us to survive in this world is not learned from man. It's literally our subconscious. You think our subconscious is not our spirit? You think that's maybe man's way of trying to name something to make it seem like it's still man? How do you know the subconscious isn't the spirit?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Who develops the subconscious? A lot of people would say the subconscious is based off of experiences. I had no experience of how to breathe, how to blink, wake up. What is that?
How to go to the bathroom?
Body or the spirit?
You go to the bathroom.
Beautiful. Like God said in the Bible that when we leave this earth, we will become rulers. But where? Depending on, and it depends on what you're reading. I respect it, but it depends, because you gotta understand a lot of people have different religions. We're more intelligent than animals. Reason being, we have God. Now, I'm going to do People gonna be like, "What's wrong with you, Fluence? You trying to say we dumb as animals?" I'm gonna do a devil's advocate, and that's what my barber was getting on me. He was like, "Why we always have to do a devil's advocate? Like he has enough advocates. What about God?" But I was like, "Look, that's what they named it, so I'm just talking." But
I'd
so
have laughed if he said that. I ain't gonna lie.
we're more intelligent than animals, right? But if we were in a position where everything was taken away from us, all our resources, who would survive? Humans or animals?
Darwinism.
Boom. So we were already adapted. So we beforehand maybe differently, but now we've been adapted to a system where everything is presented and given to us. Our species would die off quicker than animals because animals obviously are able to adapt to whatever is in front of them. So yes, of course, we have a smarter mind. We've been able to build things, and of course, we're talking about something that's hypothetical. But we want to put ourselves superior than animals because we're in a position where we have the resources to make that the situation. But take out all the resources, nigga. We hunting for food, everything. Guess what? Our number one predator, our number one enemy would be animals.
You seen John Wick, right?
Talk about it.
What's that one dude always say? The only thing that separates us from the animals is rules. That's the only thing that separates us from the animals is rules, bro. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people like, I don't agree with that. Everybody want to go to the intellect. I'm like, look, man. When the Bible was written, or when the land of time was written, the man and the woman was made first. The animals was entertainment and supposed to be subservient to humans, but we messed that up.
But can I respond real quick to what Let's Talk About it said? Humans will survive because we will adapt. We have God. God will not give you more than you can handle. You don't think these animals have God? Who created the animals?
But see, we don't even know how to speak with animals. We can't speak to an animal, so we don't know what a type of spirit an animal has.
That's why I think Craig is so fucking funny when he made that joke, and he was talking about the Kajoji. He was like, you think dogs talk words? He's like, dog talk words. They don't just bark. I'm fucking up his old joke, but he was like, look, when I bark at the dog, he does nothing. He was like, bro. Look, he does nothing. But when I say, come here, boy, come here. Look, the dog comes to me. The dog understands words. His barks are words. He doesn't understand dog. He understands words. I'm like, this nigga is like, in my head, because I'm fucked up. I'm like, nigga, that's clever than a motherfucker because it's true.
Bro,
like,
you can talk to any animal besides like ants and shit like that, to where their brain can't probably even fathom that. But if the brain is big enough, you can train a monkey, bro. Now, the only thing about a monkey is that their hormones are unstable. So if they having a fucked up day, they like, fuck your words. I'm gonna fuck shit up, right? And you can't control that, right? Because they're like, I don't care about the consequences. They're not adept to understanding consequences, right? Like, you can't go beat no gorilla. You gonna die. You know what I mean?
Can I fuck up what Let's Talk About is talking about real quick? He said, atoms don't have a spirit and animals can easily be controlled. Humans can't easily be controlled?
We're all controlled in the grand scheme of things.
I'm like, do you understand that we literally have boxing matches where niggas will beat their brains out for money? MMA beat their brains out for money. Like, we'll literally work for nothing just to pay rent. We're controlled, just like animals. Animals are more free than us.
It's just people don't want to. The thing about, and this is where he was trying to make it so simple, right? Like, all you got to do is know yourself. All you got to do is know yourself. I got my boy, Let's Talk About It. Good to see you in the chat, brother. I'm glad that you have a bond and you're not so easily befuddled by other opinions. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying this, like, look, we all have spirits, right? Even the animals, right? Everybody has a purpose in his life, right? Like, spiders help you stop other bugs, and then you got sharks. Everything has a check and balance to it, correct? You know what I mean? Like, everything checks and balances stuff, like, so stuff don't get too crazy, right? Because if sharks wasn't in the water, right, you have other fish over bullying other fish and then making them go extinct, etc., etc., etc. But if you have something in there that's keeping everything regulated and keeping stuff in what you would call a harmony, you know what I mean? Like, That's how you keep, you know what I'm saying, everything in balance. The same thing with humans, right? The only thing is we're greedy, right? Our greed, you know, gluttony, you know, envy, jealousy, all these things that are sinnish and not of God, it cripples us in the end because that's not what God wants us to do, right? God wants us to be in harmony. God wants us to live without sin. God wants us to put ourselves last and put him first. But us as humans have a hard time doing that, right? Because like I said, the greed factor, right? Because I'm like, you know, back to, you know, what I was just saying, like without that shark in the water, or maybe without that octopus, or without that, you know what I'm saying? Everybody checks the other person. Like Fluence checks me sometimes, and I check him, but it's not on some ego shit. Like, yeah, nigga, I'm that nigga. It's more so like it's all level. And that's why I'm talking about that brother when he was saying, if you know yourself, you don't have to listen to nobody. I'm like, then who's gonna check you, bro? If you're too good to think that you can get checked, that means you think you're better than God, because God's going to check you. And it doesn't have to be from him in a dream or you praying. It's going to be from somebody else. You get what I'm saying? But see, our ego is so big is when people get checked, they feel threatened. Like, who you think you is, bruh? I know who you think you are, pal. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets their ego flustered and it's just like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like this was, you know, and that's why I mean, things happen for a reason, right? Like certain things just happen. You're like, why did this happen, right? And then it's up to you to be like, you know what? Let me try to figure out my answer. But see, and this is where he's saying he don't listen to nobody, right? Do you not pay rent, brother man? Do you not pay your taxes, brother man?
Talk about it.
Do you not pay your phone bill, brother man? Do you not pay your car note, brother man?
But in his mind, but you got to understand from that perspective. And I said all these things, but it was like, but all those things are materialistic things. But my body, no one could. If someone's gonna try and take me, I'm gonna fight for it, right? So I'm gonna fight for it, and it's much more than that. But I'm like, nigga, I'm gonna fight for somebody trying to take away my, you know what I'm saying, my TV. If it's mine and a nigga just randomly comes up, I'm gonna fight for that. I'm like, nigga, I paid money for
my
this.
car. Yeah, I'm about to not let you take my car.
Oh yeah, just take it, nigga. It's just materialistic. So it's like it was a hard conversation to have with him. One, because he was young, and two, is like I understand you following religion. You like, oh, my body is everything, but it's like, brother, if that's everything, you would never have no will to get up and try and make money. Because none of that matters. But you understand the system that you're in. You understand that you understand that you're in a position where at the end of the day, no matter what's going on, you have to make money to be able to survive in this world. So you're not feeling like you're in a position where you're losing. That's just what it is. So it's like you can say whatever you want. You can try and downplay who your people is and trying to be like, oh, all we have to do is as long as they just find themselves and they'll be in a different position, they won't be doing and acting the way they are. Excuse me. If they understand that they black people and this is where they from. It's like, bro, they can understand all that. It won't make a difference.
And to your point, let's talk about it. You said God blew air into us. He didn't blow air into animals. You have to remember, just because he blew air into us doesn't mean that he didn't put a spirit in the animals, right? Because you still created it. My point, when you create something, you put a spirit in that, or you put a certain type of life in that. Because if that wasn't the case, why are animals coherent with any human for the most part? A lion could be coherent with a human if it's the right human. And
think about this. There was animals created before Eve.
Yeah.
Supposedly, if you want to go by the book.
But see, you get my point, though. So I'm like, a dog could be more reliable than a human. But yet we'll disrespect the animal and say that they're stupid. But are they not stupid? Are they stupid, or are they more understanding that that's how it's supposed to go? Right?
We just want to feel superior. I just thought it was funny. I told him, I was like, yeah, of course we're superior when we're not in the habitat. I was like, if we bring a lion in this barbershop right now, we'd be scared of the motherfucker. That nigga would be the king of the jungle. We wouldn't be doing shit. And he was like, that's different, brother. Well, we had a physical mindset, so we would never put ourselves in that position. I was like,
he just moved the whole goalpost. Like, bro, we not talking about what position. If a lion was to just break up into this shop, bro, all y'all would be afraid. Y'all wouldn't be talking about
no matter how smart you feel you is, nigga. We would all be shitting our pants. I'm like, nigga, the survival of the fittest. We're talking about Darwinism, what you talked about before. I'm like, yes, we were smart enough to make sure that we have these boundaries, but nigga, we're also smart enough to make sure we keep these boundaries. So I'm like, there's always levels of thinking. And I was like, at the same time, I also told him, you want to talk about animals? All right, if a 6'9" nigga came in here with hands, beat the fuck out of everybody. He was like, oh, that's not necessarily true. He's like, Floyd Mayweather came in here. I said, I'll beat the dog shit out that nigga on a street fight. Nigga, that nigga 42 years old and he's 5'9". I'll beat the dog shit out that nigga. In boxing, he'll dog walk me. But if he came up in here at barbershop talking shit, that nigga too little. I'll put hands on him.
Man, you
I'm
can
like,
pick
nigga,
a
this
nigga
shit
up and
matters,
throw the nigga.
bro. I'm like, don't be stupid. I'm like, but if a nigga come in here 6'9", nigga, with hands, he beating all the fuck us up. You nigga, we don't got nothing to say.
But
Like,
see,
stop
this
being
is,
so delusional.
people forget that we're in a caste society, but forgot that's the bro. Think about it. Darwinism was discovered, right? Why do you think that they built a system that can trump Darwinism? That's how you trump it, using your smarts. That's the only thing that we really have, right? Somebody that's typing behind a keyboard can make more than somebody that's physically giftedly talented. That's a fact, because it's designed for those type of people to thrive better than the person. But if we took all that out, it'd be the biggest, strongest nigga. Like a LeBron would survive over a lot of niggas because he's just bigger and stronger. He gonna be able to go hunt. He gonna be able to go do things that motherfuckers can't go do.
We want to talk about all this advancements and all this type of shit, and physical advantages don't matter. Nigga, you think it's a coincidence that LeBron is one of the few players that he's playing at such a high level so late in his career? Oh, he's just that skillful, right? Right? No, nigga. He's physically gifted that no one could ever even comprehend. See what I'm saying? I'm like, we just have to be 100 with those type of things.
Exactly.
Tom Brady, the reason why he's able to do what he has to do is because rules have been changed to benefit that particular position, so he doesn't have to take on a certain amount of damage. So he's able to play longer in that particular league, which benefits what he's able to capitalize off of. I'm like, let's not be stupid. Like, let's be realistic. There's levels to this shit. Talk about that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. You can read it.
Let's talk about that. The reason being that dogs don't have a spirit is because I can't make a dog attack someone. He will not have a conscience after he makes her kill humans, which that's just soul and spirit. I would definitely dispute that, saying that dogs don't have a spirit. It's
easy, bro. I can go to the trenches right now and tell somebody to go murk a nigga for a band.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
like,
niggas would kill a nigga quick.
Nigga say it in the song. I can get a whack for a little for a Louis bag or something like that. Like, but niggas will kill for anything, bro. For clout. Dudes is killing dudes for free. Dude killed the rapper Trouble over a girl.
Nigga, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't remember the last time I seen a dog just kill another dog because they took his bitch.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Nigga. I'm like, you trying to say we better than animals, but I'm like, I don't remember last time I seen a dog killing this dog. It was like, damn, you really just took my bitch. Like, damn, I'm finna kill you.
But let's talk about it. You're making it seem like the dog, you can't physically speak to the dog, right? A dog is not going to tell you how he's feeling, right? But how do you know after the dog kills that person, it doesn't make him feel a different way as well, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know that? I'm like, think about Mandingo fighting, bro. Bro, back in the day, dude will beat the fuck out of a nigga, get a hot meal, and be like, shit, nigga, I had to do what I had to do and keep it pushing. You feel me? At one point, he's not worried about the other nigga that he killed. He like, nigga, I'm alive.
How any different is it though nowadays though? You feel me? I'm like, we try to we put a respect in a sport where it's like, okay, after we beat the fuck out of someone or knock someone out, we trying to make sure they're good afterwards. But at the end of the day, we just doing this shit because we trying to feed our family and be in a position, you know what I'm saying, where nigga, my grandson is good, my son is good, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to, you know, build a legendary type wealth type shit. What's the difference between now and then? You feel me? It's all about the same shit, making sure my family and my bloodline is good financially. It's just, nigga, media and marketing has done a great way to make it seem like that shit is humanized, but it's not humanized. Like, people got to understand, man, all this shit is really just set up and orchestrated. Like, I know we be watching these TV shows and we be enjoying it and we be looking at it and we making it seem like, but now I'm like, they're literally like kind of like laughing at us and they're like, bro, this really is what it is. Like, this boxing shit, we really supporting people beating the fuck out of each other, killing each other right in front of each other. You know what I'm saying? But they make it money. So I'm like,
not knocking what you're saying. Let's talk about. I'm not saying that it might not be on a person's conscience. And then I see your point. You're saying a dog won't kill another dog. We're talking about they won't kill another dog because that dog messed with his joint. But you got to remember, it's still Darwinism out here. So if they see a weak ass dog in the junkyard, they gonna kill that dog to eat. You feel
Bro,
me?
I'm like, niggas get killed every day. I'm
Like
niggas get
dogs,
killed
and
over petty
think
shit.
about, a lion will kill another lion if he's hungry, and he has to feed his
over
his
nothing.
family.
I'm like,
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
same way that humans would do. They
But
do
you
the
can't
same
say that
shit.
that lion doesn't think about that, right? But he's like, I gotta do that, right? So I'm like, if some dude go kill somebody, they might think about it, but they're like, shit, it was him or me.
It's crazy. I know my guy's in is my dog, because I'm like, when I was really trying to explain to my barber, I'm like, yeah, you may think we superior to them because of our mindset, but I'm like, if we're in their environment, they will kill us. We'll be scared of them. So how are we superior than them? And he just kept making it seem like, well, just because we're smarter than them, we would never be in that position.
I'll tell you right now, let's talk about it. I don't know what you look like. I don't know what your dimensions is. I don't know what type of body. I don't know what type
I forgot.
of
No,
hands
let's
you got.
talk about it. He changed his profile. I forgot, but he's been the OG of the channel. I forgot what his original name is, but he's been the OG of the channel.
But you're saying that dog, and I'm not trying to sit here and combat you over this point, but I'm saying
dogs do have choices though.
Yeah, because if I tell my dog to go bite Flu, yeah, get him,
And that nigga don't do it. That nigga don't do it.
And he comes over to Flu, and then Flu's like, he just starts barking back at him. He gonna either be like, I'm gonna listen to my master, or I'm gonna go just take the high road and go wall up in the corner. You know what I mean? Not every dog has the spirit of to attack, right? Just because you tell somebody to do something doesn't mean they always gonna do it, right? If you tell me to go slap Flu right now because you don't like the way he looking, I'm not gonna listen to you.
But I think this is the same situation that I was having with my barber. Was like, I feel like we arguing but agreeing on the same thing, where it's like, I'm not sitting here and saying that us as humans is on the same level as dogs and animals.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, don't underestimate these animals in our life, because they definitely have they definitely have an understanding to this world that we'll never understand, because they do shit. We could train them. Like don't be naive to feel like okay, we're a million steps above them. Yes, domesticated animals, dogs, cats, of course. But when we going into lions, tigers, shit that will kill us, nigga,
there's a pecking order.
Nigga, if we were living in the same exact, like, nigga, if I was living in a house and there was tigers and lions walking through like dogs and cats in the neighborhood, who do you think is going to be the superior and the alpha male in that situation?
Exactly.
We going to be doing everything we can to make sure we're going to be like, okay, nigga, I'm not trying. Like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's all I'm saying.
But let's talk about it.
Intellectual.
You keep saying you can make a dog attack a human, but do you know what MK Ultra is? Do you know what brainwash is? This dudes in the army that are brainwashed every day to go kill somebody they don't even know. They don't even know if the cause is right or wrong, and they're going to go kill those people. So you can't say that you can make a dog attack. They a commanding officer right now could be like, go kill that little boy that's 9 years old right over there, and the person's gonna have to be like, I don't want to do that. Do it now. Okay,
I'm gonna go do it.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's the same.
Grow old and we're gonna regret it.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like the difference between us and animals is the fact that shit, we can understand each other. But I'm like, nigga, we grow old the same way. Like, our arrogance to life is ridiculously crazy. Like, nigga, death is for everybody. Like, I want to say, and I don't want to get too deep into it, because I'm like, this might fuck up the strain, this might fuck up the algorithm. I don't know who's gonna fuck with it, but I was like, just think about this, y'all, because this is what I be thinking about. And I'm just gonna come here because it's how I'm feeling influenced. I don't give a fuck. Y'all can hate me for it. So I'm gonna put this in your mind. Hopefully, I don't fuck up your whole entire.
After this, let's switch to the boys, man, because I'm like,
and we'll
talk
get
about
there
this all night.
But so I'm finna say, so look, think about this. Think about you fighting all your life for some bullshit, and at the end of the day, when everything is done and said, if you don't believe in reincarnation, if you don't believe in this heaven and hell shit, whatever the bullshit is, you literally sitting there and all you got for the rest of your life is the same shit you see when you go to sleep and you dream, or you just got blank black shit. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, we're literally living in a life where we want to act like we got control. We want to act like we got that shit. We're going to talk about, but I'm like, nigga, this shit ain't forever. You feel me?
Mhm.
So my bad if I came a little too real with it.
No, man,
That shit.
you know, a lot of us, man, like,
Salute you. Let's talk about it. Hey, I appreciate you. Let's talk about it for real.
no,
Drop
I
your
let them know
original
that
name so
earlier.
I remember again. Let's talk about goddamn. Well, I fuck with you. Let's talk about because we
Yeah, he did have
last couple
another
of streams.
channel. I forgot what it was too, but I
Yeah,
remember Jay
but let's talk about.
Electronica
He was
said,
always solid.
Jay Electronica said in the song, he was like, "This life that we live is a blessing, not a promise," right? And I think a lot
Yeah.
of us forget that. Like, bro, it's a blessing for us to wake up. It's a blessing for us to be able to find ourselves. It's a blessing to be able to keep walking this earth day by day and experiencing who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, because when you reincarnated, everything that you learn in this life is going to be all taken away. You're going to have to restart again. But that's the
If that's
beauty
what
of
you
the journey.
believe in. If that's what you believe in.
Well, that's what you believe in. But I'm like, in my opinion, I think because I'm just like,
A lot of people don't. A
so
lot of people don't believe in reincarnation. Then
it's because everybody wants to believe in the you know the heaven and the
heaven and the
hell,
hell. Yeah.
and it's just like, who's to say this isn't hell?
No, for me, the reason why, and I'm like, I don't want to make it into this, so I'm make it quick. The only reason I think that's cap because I'm like, y'all basically trying to make it seem like, oh, I can live this life on Earth, and then I can live this same life in the afterlife. That's basically what you're saying. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, rather than being like, be realistic, like reincarnation, like nigga, we have this life, it happens, and then we live another life where we don't remember nothing of this. We just have another life. You feel me? Whether it be as a plant, an animal, whatever the case may be, whatever the reincarnation may be. Like that's I believe that more so than I'm gonna be in a heaven looking down and being like, oh, I'm partying while I see more people live the same life I had. Like, nigga, that sound like that's some real man-made shit to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see some shit where it's like, this is all you got. Like, enjoy what you got right now. You'll never remember it ever again. And you feel me? Hope for the best. You know what I'm saying? Don't make shit too sweet. If shit was too sweet, niggas want to be loving shit like the boys. Your shit muted, Zen. I can't hear you, bro.
Gold Green, that was his name.
There we go. Let's go with it. Oh yeah. Let's talk about it. Yeah, go green. Yeah, absolutely. I just poured crazy amount of alcohol. I shouldn't fuck it. Yeah, go green. Go green been an OG of the channel. Salute to you. Definitely not on the lost one side of the game. Now I get it. I agree with you. If you was in a habitat with done, I was saying you don't have a spirit. I respect that. And you said,
Right, so
ask
what you
those
think about
men
the
that was in the
boys, man?
service how they feel.
Let's make this transition, man. What you think about the boys, man?
Let's go. Let's get a transition. Now, hold on. Don't come at me first, nigga. You seen it before me. You feel me? So I want to know because I'm just like you was definitely not, you know what I'm saying, the original. Well, you was to this extent, but let me know how you feel about it, bro. Everybody
It was
come
the
up here,
greatest
man. Please
episode. You already
hit
saw
the
my
like
text.
button, subscribe, notification, all that. Let me know what's good with it, Zen. Talk to the people.
You already saw. I said it was the best episode that they've had to date. Like, you know, all the other episodes that was good, but this the best one. I'm telling you, it was the best one.
Okay. Why though? Tell me why. How you feel
Because we
about
got
that?
to see Homelander go against somebody that he couldn't just kill like that.
So that's particularly what I want to kind of reflect on. I want to talk about because I feel like a lot of people are taking that out of concept. I feel like a lot of people are saying things that don't make no sense. But okay, so the first thing I want to touch on when it comes to this particular episode, because your boy, you know what I'm saying? Like this, all this is a reason, you know what I'm saying? This isn't accidental, you know what I'm saying? I was trained on it. No, I'm being stupid. A-Train, how do you feel about A-Train's trajectory? Talk to me.
Ain't he dead?
I just want to ask, how you feel about A-Train's trajectory? I don't know if he dead. It looked like he was dead. Spoiler alert, by the way. But yeah, how do you feel about it? That's the first person I want to talk about because A-Train was one of the first persons in the beginning of the Boyz period that I really enjoyed as a character.
I just think that
get back on it, go Goosen. Let's talk about get back on that joint. Trust me,
it's
fire. Go ahead,
but I just think that they it's sad, man. They just made that man basically just looked like a stupid person without his powers. You know what I mean? Like he had nothing else besides powers. You know, like without those powers, he was nothing. And it's crazy because his brother believed he was more than what his powers was. I think that was the most. I think that was the most.
But don't you think on that is his character arc? Like, he thought he was more than his powers. He's not more than his powers. And at the end of the day, he died because, spoiler alert, sorry guys. Or I don't know if he died, but he put himself in a position where he probably would die because he used his powers. Like, his brother made him feel like he was more than that. He wanted to be more than that, but at the end of the day, he wasn't more than that. Like, that's why, like, and at the end of the day, he really ended up going out using those same powers that he felt like he wasn't really that was his character arc, and he died from it, trying to support a cause that he didn't give a fuck about, but he only gave a fuck about because someone he cared about got hurt. So that was interesting.
Yeah, and it's crazy because he ended up doing what he did because he felt like that was his way of getting justice. So I'm like, you can say you can commend him for it, I guess, because but it's like, was it selfish? Because now it's like your brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he has to, you know what I'm saying? If he is no longer, has to now deal with him not being able to walk anymore, on top of now his baby bro died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but no, I thought the episode from the beginning to the end was great. You know what I mean? I just thought,
talk about it.
It was interesting because the certain things that Soulja Boy was saying is like the boys was really trying to like say something without saying something. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, men back then wouldn't be caught dead wearing that, and men back, like, it was all just like how he saw how society was just basically changing, and it wasn't for the best. And this was his opinion. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, "What's
laugh out loud?"
What?
When Soulja Boy was like, when he was looking at when the dude, the black dude, he had the thing on the top, he had the baby there.
That's what
he was like, that's how, and that's what I thought about it. He was like, that's how men be out here now. He was like,
said, "Oh yeah,
who's American Dad?" And who would ever be that? Bill Cosby. He would never
wear some shit like that.
I love it. That shit had me rolling. He was like Bill Cosby would never fuck with those bullshit
like that.
I was like, because it was like it humanitized Soulja Boy, because you would think Soulja Boy would be racist because of his time, but it was like, but wait, he's not necessarily from that time, that too long. Like, he could be in that aspect if you're in the 1960s or 1970s where you're racist and you think white people are superior, but with that black person coming along with that talent, you're still like, well, God damn it, I can't disrespect that. And there was that medium. It's like, that's kind of where Soulja Boy was. And that's where, like, kind of bring it full circle to my barber. I feel like he got offended because I was like, this happened in the 1960s, 1970s. And his older brother, he was like, well, the Nation of Islam, they didn't get established in the 1950s. So for that to happen, it would have been relatively new. And I was like, okay, so how does that dispute what I'm saying? Doesn't that actually support what I'm saying? Because if they're relatively new, wouldn't they need a type of agreement to go around and talk about certain black power and black, forward progress institutions and movements to make sure they're not touched a certain way? Oh no, but anyways, I thought that was dope when it came to the episode. I was like, that was dope. I was like, Soulja Boy, he's very different from the comics, because in the comics they got him as a dumbass, but in the actual Boyz season, they have him as basically the opposite of Captain America.
But it's crazy because I remember I called it after season 5. I was like, Homelander was nervous and scared, and in the beginning of the episode, it showed me that I was right. He's like, that's Soulja Boy. You feel me? Like, because he knew, like, I don't know how to really fix this. Only way I could do it is kill him. But he's like, that's not going to be easy as I thought. And then he had security because he was like, oh, I got Black North. That's my boy. I always can count on you. As soon as he said that,
that's where shit fucked up, because Black North. So I want to put this out for Black North. So I want to, there's a couple things I want to put out there first. So It was apparent that Homelander, because he could have easily killed Soldier Boy if he wanted to. If Soldier Boy didn't team up with Butcher with the temporary V, right? So, Black Noir. Remember when they did the flashback, episode 3, whatever the case may be? So it seems like he's running from Homelander, correct? If you guys do a little bit more extra research, you'll see
he's running
who is the actor who plays Black Noir right now currently. His skin tone is the same skin tone as myself's or Zen's, or maybe in the middle. So the person that they showed originally in that flashback, he's not the current Black Noir. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, I don't think he's scared of Soldier Boy. I think he knows Homelander can be Soldier Boy because it showed that Homelander could be Soldier Boy. But Soldier Boy had help. I personally think Black Noir is controlled completely by Stan Edgar. And I think he wanted Homelander to fight that fight by himself.
Why do you think he took the tracking thing out of his form?
Because the tracking thing had to do with Homelander and Val. I think he's loyal to Stan Edgar. Do you remember that flashback?
Yeah.
It seemed like him and Stan Edgar was cool. But that's not the same Noir. Like, people don't realize that. They think it's the same Noir because in season I think it was 3 or whatever, Mav, she wrote and she gave him the Almond Joy, and it fucked up. So he had the same damage. But if you look up the actor who plays Black Noir, it's a dude. He has the same skin color as me and you, Zen. So I personally think, because in the comics, the person who brings down Homelander is Black Noir, because he's basically Homelander. He was a clone of Homelander as Black Noir, and he kills Homelander. That's the comics, right? But they've done a lot of things where they went away from the comics. So I personally think Black Noir, Soldier Boy is going to think Black Noir is the same dude that we saw in that flashback, but he's actually going to be just like Homelander got experimented on, and all this different shit happened to him. I think it's going to be the same thing with Black Noir. I think he got experimented on, and he's not going to be the same dude, because the dude who plays him currently, who's the actor who plays Black Noir, is not that dude that we saw in that flashback.
Well, you got to remember, this is my theory. I think that that flashback don't really matter, in my opinion, the skin tone, because he got his shit melted off anyway, right? What I think is, after that happened, Stan Edgar made it to where that he could heal himself, and that, something like that wouldn't happen again. But in doing so, he might have got some type of control over his brain. So I think it's still the Black Noir, but I just think they made modifications to him himself. That's my theory. Because I'm like, if they're not staring to what the comic book is, him being light skinned, it's not like he's gonna take his face mask off and kind of show us that. So I'm like, I'm
just saying, they had an episode where Lily showed who Black Noir was, and the actor who they showed in that flashback with Soldier Boy is not the dude who's playing Black Noir right now. So it makes me believe that Edgar created a clone of Black Noir and made him more powerful than what he really is.
Well, as you can see that
in the comic books, Black Noir is literally a clone of Homelander, and that's who kills Homelander.
But I'm saying, though, we already seen that. You see they made modifications to Soldier Boy. I'm like, they could have did the same thing to Black Noir. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have to make a clone.
Great point. So you think that maybe they're taking the character arc of Black Noir, and if they're putting it on Homelander with the modifications?
Because you gotta remember, if you do enough V, or you do something, you could enhance something that might not have been there. So they could have done tests to figure out how can we make sure Black Noir doesn't die. So that, that's why I was saying the actor, to me, that's not the deal breaker. Now I could be wrong, but I'm saying we've seen that you can give somebody some extra enhancements if you do enough. So I'm like, if Stan has that much control, then he's been doing enough to make sure he keeps that control.
Excuse me.
Because he hasn't talked the whole series. He ain't talked in none of the episodes. So I'm saying, Homelander felt like he
So
had
let
that
me ask you
security
this then.
blanket.
Let me ask you this. And then my dog. What do you think? Because by the way, it's the main event for the UFC. I'm going to exit out of that because we're not going to be on here too much longer. We're going to talk about the Boyz. And then after we're going to talk about the Boyz, we're going to talk about the Mario shit. Hopefully I can bring up some shit without everything, acting crazy. But with that being said, you saw how, what happened with the Boyz. How do you think this the season's going to end up ending? We have 2 episodes left. You think Homelander's going to end up you think Homelander? Okay, let me ask this. You think you think Soldier Boy is gonna end up, lasting to the next season? You think Huey's gonna be good? You think Butcher's gonna be good? Like, what do you think is gonna end up happening? A-Train looked like he was gonna die. Like, what do you think? What's your case?
This whole time we haven't even talked about the person that probably we don't even know if that's gonna be around, bro. Because the Starlight, you know what I'm saying? She came out with a whole lot of truth to a lot of people that follow her.
Spoiler alert for anybody who don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, as much as I was talking shit about her, I'm like, she could be doing something that is leading to like a Batman versus Superman. I mean, a Superman Returns type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Where a city could, potentially get destroyed. They were doing all those movies and they were seeing that the city destroyed and they're having the little scenes or whatever. I'm like, how we know that isn't something that is foreseeable? You know what I mean? Like, you got the laser vision and you got Soldier Boy doing this and doing that. And you feel me? And then I don't know what MM is going to be on. It's crazy. I don't even know if Starlight's power is even that good.
I don't like the one thing I don't like is Starlight and MM because Starlight be trying to be getting extra crazy. Like she got like you get fucked up. Like stop acting like you got the craziest power in the world. And then MM, I'll be like, nigga, you just a regular nigga. Like all you got is a gun. And you over here acting like you finna just kill everybody. Like,
man, you gonna square with Soldier Boy.
Bro.
I'm like, nigga, you stupid, nigga.
Yeah, bro. Like
square with Mike Tyson. Like,
yeah, bro.
I ain't about to square with this nigga.
So I'm like, that's the only thing I really don't like for the series. Is like, okay, Starlight is really delusional. MM is really delusional. But at the same time, it's like, maybe I should like it because it's like, all right, you got the delusional niggas together. Like, you got MM and Starlight together. They delusional. Butcher and Huey's together, and both of them are scorned, and they trying to have revenge on whatever the fuck they had happen with deaths. You feel me?
But you know what's crazy to me? I'm like, I don't even think Huey's even beat up about his girl getting ran by anymore, bro. I think he's just really more so not wanting to be weak. I think that's more of his motive now than it is the revenge. I feel like,
I'm gonna give Huey a little love. His whole motive for not being weak is exactly what you said, though. It's because he saw his bitch absolutely get destroyed and it was like, I was a weak nigga. I couldn't do nothing about it. And even in that instance, for us to have revenge, I was still a weak nigga. Like, he's been weak every single season except this particular season. So it's like, I can't be mad at him. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying I'm not mad. I'm not saying I'm mad at him. I'm just saying his motives to me are haze, just like Homelander. Because I'm like, it's not like Homelander killed his wife. That was his son. That was her.
But A-Train killed his girl, though.
I'm talking about for Butcher, though. I'm talking about the losing sight of what, you feel me? The whole thing is he should be trying to kill A-Train, not no damn Homelander, if that was his real thing.
So let me ask this, though, because at the end of the day, everything's fooled by Homelander. With the position that we in, do you think Homelander is able to stick shit out where he beats what's coming for him? Or do you think Butcher with his compound V, Huey with the compound V, Soldier Boy coming, is that gonna be too much for Homelander? What's your opinion?
What's your opinion? Saw at the end of the episode, he did look a little beat up. That nigga had a black eye, face all beat up. And that's the first time I've ever seen Homelander not look like a movie star. You know what I mean?
But who wasn't there, though?
What you mean?
Who wasn't there? Black Noir.
But who's to say Black Noir is on Homelander's side?
He's
Because you
not.
gotta remember they were in battle together, Soulja Boy and Noir, and he could have remorse saying,
I agree with you. Black Noir is not on his side, but I think he's even more so not on Soulja Boy's side.
How you figure?
Because I'm like Soulja Boy. I'm like if what is true, the twins were saying that Black Noir was the one who sent him to Russia. I think the reason why they tried to make Noir seem like he ran, supposedly, was because he's most involved. But I don't think Black Noir ran. I think him and Stan Edgar have a really close relationship. Because if you saw in that flashback, it almost seemed like they was brothers or something like that. They was friends or something.
I told you
like closer than everybody else.
I told you like on Wednesday. I told you that Stan Edgar has all this planned out. So I'm thinking he just went to Stan and was like, all right, like. You said this was going to happen. You said that it was going to crumble. You said that Soulja Boy probably will come back eventually. Everything that Stan was saying was coming true. So he's like, oh, shit. I can't be around with this motherfucker right here. He don't even know what's going on. Stan do. You know what I mean? So he's like, I got to go by somebody that knows what's going on.
Black Noir is definitely going to be a surprise, in my opinion. I still think that, even though with the 2 episodes left, I think there's still going to be I feel like the finale is going to be something where it's going to be unsatisfying. Because I still feel like we're still going to have a season 5 and maybe a season 6.
In the season 3?
It's season 3. No, season 4, right?
Season 3, I thought.
Season 3, yeah, you're right. But I still think there's going to be a season 5 and maybe a season 6. But
you mean 4
I feel like something's going to happen at the last episode. We're going to be like, damn. But at the same time, it's going to be able to, propel into the next season to make it go crazy.
I wonder where Maeve's at. She probably in a dungeon somewhere.
That's another thing. That's what I'm saying. That's gonna be part of it because I'm like, we're gonna have a reveal wherever Maeve is happening, either in the next episode or in the last episode.
It's a lot of interesting things, man. What's going on, man? That show I told you, man. That was the best episode, man. Because that fighting scene at the end was crazy, man. I don't care what
it was fire. I fuck with it. We don't go crazy too much. Longer into it, man. I feel like every time I want to talk about the versus battle with Omarion and Mario, it just never goes too long. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we be too. But it was, look, all I'm gonna say is I fuck with Mario, but you know what I'm saying? I thought Mario was gonna wipe him off the floor. I didn't understand the actual versus battle. I was like, that's not even fair. But at the end of the day, Mario won, and that nigga won every round. And it was disgusting, and it was disrespectful, and it was easy to score. So I'm gonna leave it at that because I definitely expected to come into this particular.
And that's a shame because Omarion was in B2K, man. So I'm just like, B2K had hits. So the fact that he lost, he should be ashamed of himself.
Start to learn, man. Them groups, that's the downfall of a lot of people, man. Them groups actually is worse off. You know what I'm saying? They was protected. They were safeguarded, and they made sure everything came in the right way. So Mario really changed the game when it came to that. I'm not going to overdo it. You got anything you want to say to people?
I was Ray J there.
Well, they changed it where they made a pre-show where it was Ray J and Bobby V versus Pleasure P and Sammy. Pleasure P and Sammy definitely won.
Yeah, Pleasure P and them, he got bangers, nigga. Ray J don't have a chance.
Pleasure P was talking mad shit, man. He was like, nigga, he made it seem like he was trying to act like he was better than Mario and Omarion. Yeah. I won't even lie. Pleasure P, I think he got more hits than Omarion. He definitely wouldn't beat Mario, but I was like, man, Pleasure P, he was really that nigga during that time. Like, he definitely. When Omarion was playing his hits, I was like, damn, Omarion really don't got hits. He had a lot of features.
Yeah, he just had like ice. Damn,
that's it. Like in his early times, he was crazy, but I was like, when in the later times, I was like, damn, he was a lot of features and kind of rode the wave. So
yeah,
and I was like, Mario was just like, he was an R&B nigga, like a lot of his shit. And then he could sing his shit. He could sing. That was the thing. It was like, it was about singing. So he was able to go out there and sing, and he wasn't fucking with it. You didn't know what the song was. It was like, I'm listening to it because he could sing. Omarion, I was like, I'm not gonna listen to none of you guys say because nigga, you can't sing. Like, you sound like a nigga who, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get the nozzle pump, you know what I'm saying? Type shit.
But to end to cap off the night, I was telling you what because Ebony Sweet had brought up when he said Usher over Chris Brown, because Chris Brown did his interview with $1 Million Worth of Game, and he was saying that'd be the only person he would want to kind of do a versus with, just kind of for the culture, kind of just do it. And everybody in the comments, bro, was saying Usher all day. Chris Brown don't got no chance. I'm like, damn.
Chris Brown would embarrass Usher just because the vocals and the dance. Usher's vocals, he would struggle. It would be the same thing as like what we saw.
But I'm just like
talking about,
bro. People were saying that Chris Brown music didn't pan well over the years, and somebody was like, "Are you serious, bro?"
The what I like about the verses, it really exposes people, because I'm like, just like me and you, I thought Omarion was gonna smash Mario, even though
he was.
In my head, I can literally sing word for word a Mario song. But I can't sing word for word a Omarion song. I can tell you how much I love a Omarion song, but I can sing word for word a Mario song. You feel me?
Come on, man. Baby, you should let me love you. Baby, you don't want to. Come on, man. That was one of the best songs for like at least 2 years, bro.
Love and presentation.
Maybe there's a laser to you. Baby, you should let me love you.
So I'm like, it's just a fact on that shit. You could do that, man. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm like, he killed. I'm like, just check it out, man. It's crazy, man. It made me be like, I'm old too, nigga, just because I'm watching shit like that. I'm like, man, niggas.
Hey,
you really, I'm like, niggas really get paid for shit they really shouldn't get paid for, bro.
Bow Wow should do a versus with somebody, man, because Bow Wow actually low key got hits.
Man, Bow Wow versus Lil B, nigga.
Oh no, I wouldn't do it.
Lil B will win, man.
No, if he wins just because of how popular that nigga is, bro, he would not win, bro. It gotta be like Bow Wow versus like Romeo or something.
That would be fire, actually, because I'm like, that would be. Wait, all right, we're not gonna keep this too long. We're gonna get up out of here.
Facts, because I'm about to.
Even Saturday, I'm having a good time, but we're gonna get up out of here, man. Salute the people. You got anything you want to say to people before we get up out of here, man?
In the words of Eddie Kendricks, keep on trucking, baby.
All day. Salute the people. Much love. Appreciate y'all. We out of here, man. Stay up.